Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Warrington Wolves Facebook Live as we open up the vault once more at the Halliwell Jones Stadium and take another trip down Rugby League memory lane. To help me review this fixture, which is the 2018 playoff victory at St Helens, is two players that played in that game and our current wingmen, Josh Charnley and Tom Lineham. Good evening, fellas.
Hi.
Tom, let's start with you. You got struck down with the virus. All well now, mate? All clean bill of health?
Yeah, fully back fit now. It's been a few weeks ago, so back fighting fit, raring to go.
It's great to hear, Tom. And you got the haircut to suit as well, mate.
Yeah, I've gone well. I went for the full bick.
Was it full bick?
The full. I did it about 2 weeks ago. Did it. My missus, I was trying to teach my missus to cut it, and she was butchering me, so it all had to go, and steadily coming back.
Suits you, mate. You look well.
Thank you. I think I'm going to keep this for a while. A bit different, isn't it?
I like it.
Timberlake.
I like it. I like it, Tom. Josh, you've been well?
Yeah, very well.
Good stuff. And how are you dealing with lockdown?
Yeah, trying to get into a routine. With the kids, it's hard work trying to keep them entertained because all they want to do at the minute is just be in the garden. But yeah, they're smashing the rooms up and doing bits. But yeah, it's all good. We're all healthy.
Good stuff. Right, guys. So looking at the 2018 season, we had substantial change in the performance department. And obviously, Josh, you wasn't with us in 2017, but Tom, you was. Steve comes in. Tony Smith moves on. Steve comes in. What did Steve bring to the team, and what were the differences between the two coaches?
I was a massive fan of Tony. I thought he was, a real character, and he had his own methods and his own ways, which is very different from Steve. And I think, obviously, he'd been at the club a long time. He'd been successful, but both Tony and the club wanted, to go in different directions, and we needed someone fresh, someone a bit different to come in. And the first thing I think Steve did is he changed the culture. I think in the past, the players have been very well looked after by the lucky enough to have all the directors and the board members that we do that, are very generous. And I think Steve came in and he wanted to build a bit of a tougher mentality. So we did the army camp in 3 weeks in Yorkshire. A gruesome 2-day camp in the rain, camping out, carrying all sorts of different stuff and equipment up the hills in, torrential rain and horrendous conditions. And from then, you kind of knew that he was trying to change the way we were, change our mindsets and make, bring a real team ethos where you worked really hard for one another. And you were, he always says about how tough and resilient we've got to be. And that's something that he implemented right from the start.
Excellent. Josh, you joined us in March 2018 from Rugby Union, obviously Sales Sharks. Just tell us a little bit about how that move came about.
I moved from Wigan to Sale in 2016. I spent 18 months in Rugby Union, but I didn't play. I played my last ever game like 7 or 8 weeks before I signed up for Warrington. It was my first game that I've ever felt like I had no one to tell me what to do. And just from then I didn't play for 7 weeks, and I was just getting frustrated, didn't know what were happening in the future. So I just had to make a call, and Warrington were knocking at the door. So I'm thankful.
How did you find the transition, Josh, going over to Rugby Union? Had you played it in the past?
No, never played it at all. No, I really enjoyed it. Learning something new, it just tested the brain, and making new friends. So it was tough, but I'm glad I did it.
Good stuff. Tom, if you recall, early in 2018, our form was a little bit scratchy. We only won 2 of our first 6 games. New coach in charge. What was the mood in the camp like? Was a bit of concern? Was you confident you could turn it around?
I think it's always difficult, when a new coach comes in and you have the pre-season, but obviously your international players are away for the entire pre-season, and that's obviously they're your better players and normally in the spine. So it was difficult for us to get a lot of our systems in place. with players being away. And yeah, we didn't have the best start, but we weren't far off. And as soon as the routine got in the training and we were able to put some time in together, we really built on without that. Because I said it was 2 from 6, but then we went on a bit of a run then, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We had a fantastic win, I recall, I think, away at Catalan, and we won 9 games, maybe more on the bounce.
Yeah, and really hit on then. And I think sometimes when you have a manager comes in, then there's instant success because there's a real turnaround, and you don't know if there's been previous fallouts with the old coach and everyone's a bit rejuvenated. But with this one, in rugby, coaches are extremely different, with their methods and their theory philosophies. So it does take time. And as I said before, you keep players, you spine, repetition, normally before it does come. And then when it does come, you flourish.
So Josh, fast forward to the end of the season and going into the playoffs. Similar to the start of the season, our form again is a little bit scratchy. During the Super 8, we win 4, get beat 3 times. Saints, unbelievable that season again. League leaders, acquired 15 points more than ourselves. We got beat in the Challenge Cup final. What's the mood like going into the game? Obviously, we're raging underdogs. What was the feel? Was it confidence?
Yeah, I think throughout that game, I didn't have any panic, and I know probably that half the team weren't panicking. Being underdogs, we were going there with nothing to really lose. So, when we turned up there, we knew the plan, stuck to the plan, and paid off.
Tom, it's fair to say your preparation for this fixture was mixed. A few games prior, away at Wigan, I recall it, high shot on Don Manfredi. You actually get a yellow card, but the disciplinary judged that it's a 3-game suspension. You decide to appeal the suspension, it gets reduced to 2 games. Unfortunately, you end up playing against Saints, and which we'll get on to shortly. But you just want to talk us through this process, your appeal, how did the appeal come about, what did the appeal look like?
Yeah, so obviously that season, I had a bit of a bad discipline track record. Steve kept telling me he wanted me to hurt people, and he always shows me the clips. I don't know the name of the player, but he's in the NFL, and he just ends players all the time. Not as good as that, and I kept getting it wrong. So I think there was 3 or 4 suspensions that year. But obviously, with the 3 games that had taken you to the semi-final, and if we'd have lost that, we'd have been out. And then if you win that, do you change a winning team going into the grand final? So would I have played? So yeah, we decided to appeal it, and it was it was extremely formal. I remember we left training, we were on the field, and we had to cut it short because we had to go over to Red Hall in Leeds. So we had the suits on. There was me, Kylie, and Steve all travelled over together, and then we met the solicitor at the Starbucks in Roundy and went through everything, and then all travelled over to Red Hall together. And it's a very smart, it's like an old stately home. You go in, there's a receptionist, you get offered a coffee, and then you go into the boardroom, and it's a massive long table, about 12 to 15 chairs around it, and you sit across the judge and 2 assistants. You have a big screen, and you go up, and I had to talk through step by step, and I used the line of the seats in the stands and said, obviously, we were chasing the game. The game was in the balance. Dom would step back inside, and he was going lower, and I was actually swinging my arm to dislodge the ball in order to regain it, give us a chance of winning the game, and talked about having an open palm and not the direct eye line was on the ball, not on him. There was no malice in it. It was mistimed. The seats, obviously, his head was in line the 3rd row, and then by the end, when the collision was made, it was on the 1st row and stuff like that. Talked it through, and you've got to be very polite, lots of eye contact with the judges, and then try and manipulate them into giving you the decision to take.
Did you finish with "you can't handle the truth"?
Say that again.
Did you finish with "you can't handle the truth"?
Well, they were good. To be fair, they asked questions, and there was a guy who represents the RFL. He put forward his case, and then you're talking back and fro. Steve's jumping in. You're using it. We used the Jackson Hastings example. So I think mine was grade C, and we wanted to get it. Grade C is reckless. and we wanted to get it put down to a grade B, which is careless. And they'd used the Jackson Hastings one when he first came over. He tackled someone and creamed them, and he got sent off. But that was only given a grade B. So that's what we were fighting for, to get the same as that.
Interestingly, you mentioned there about the representative from the RFL that's trying to, uphold a suspension. And when I used to go up in my previous position at the club and with the players, like Kylie did with yourself, as you mentioned earlier, you'd be sat in a waiting room and you're actually speaking to the RFL official, all polite, all amicable, asking how you're getting on. Then you go into the boardroom and they're trying to grill you. Was that the case in this instance?
Well, the first time I went, that happened. So I was chatting away to him, having a nice conversation, and I was completely unaware that when you go in, he's the one trying to get you the punishment. So this time I was ready for it.
Good
so
man.
I didn't engage with him as much, but obviously he's changed his role now, and he works to do something with, because when I went to PNG, he was on the board, the World Cup committee or something.
Yeah.
He's actually a really nice fella. I had a good chat with him on the
plane. Yeah, he is. I'm not naming any names, but he's a nice guy. Yeah, I know him. He is.
It's 1-1 with him now on my appeals.
Okay, good stuff. Fellas, ahead of the game, we had a special guest attend training, give us some inspiration and motivational words to help us prep for the Saints game. We had the Leicester football goalkeeper, Kasper Schmeichel, attend. Tom, what did Kasper say?
Well, when you have guests come in, it normally goes one or two ways, and you're either sat there looking around the room waiting for it to end, or you're really gripping. Find it really gripping and completely enticed by him. And he was phenomenal. He was absolutely brilliant, and he spoke about obviously the Leicester City story, which is probably the biggest shock to ever happen in English football, and about how effectively the players have been rejected throughout their careers. They'd all found themselves together at Leicester under Claudio Ranieri, and they came up with a system where which was extremely successful for them, and it was actually bonding and going out drinking together, spending a lot of time together, around each other's houses and partying effectively after every game. They had drinks together, and it really built a team spirit and camaraderie. So obviously all the lads were loving this, and like, Steve, are you listening? But then when he was talking about what they did in a game, when they were either winning and needed to hold out, or they were drawing and needed to push the win or losing and tie up the game, they had a saying which was "stay in the castle," and they did a sign. So obviously his speech was a huge success, and afterwards when everyone Steve said, "What did you think?" and I was like, "Loved it." He's like, "I think we can take a lot out of that regarding staying in the castle." So when we went into the game I think it's after my first try, Joe Fielding's just come on the pitch, and I'm walking back and I go to him, "Joe, stay in the castle," and I'm saying it a bit in jest, taking the mick out of the situation, but obviously as well, right, we're on to a good thing here, let's stick at it and grind this out. So you could relate in obviously a jovial way, but also the serious message that Kasper had given to us in the previous meeting, which was brilliant.
Super. Josh, what did you take from Kasper's speech?
Yeah, in the past I've had a few people coming in speaking, but yeah, like how Tom was saying, the way they went about themselves, and they all enjoyed each other's company, and that built on their success rate. So I think we took a lot from what he said, and we tried putting that into our culture.
So moving into the game, fellas, a real tense opener. Couple of errors from either side, couple of penalties. Obviously, the grand final appearance is at stake here, guys. When you cross the whitewash, do you feel tense with a game with such big rewards, or do you feel relaxed once the whistle goes? How do you feel in the early stages of a game?
Me, I'm quite nervous till probably about half time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, my nerves start as soon as I wake up. So yeah, around half time. Once I get my first carry in, it starts to ease off a little bit, but I'm still nervous till about half time. But building up into the game, like I was saying before, that we had a plan, and you could tell it in the changing room before the game. Everyone was relaxed. There were no fear in what we were going to do and to achieve. And yeah, like I say, I'm nervous till half time. Anyway,
would you try and get an early touch then, Josh?
I'd like to try and get in the first set, but if it doesn't happen, it's you just got to try and buy your time and try and stay, composed.
Tom, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a bit different. I don't really get too nervous. Obviously game day routine varies a little bit. I'm not too bothered particular about doing the same things. Not superstitious. And then when we get to the stadium, an hour and a half before kickoff, so there's a lot of waiting around and you get strapped and stuff. But I'm always there, kind of twiddling my thumbs, and then actually enjoy getting out there in the game. The bigger the game, the more I enjoy it. So obviously when you have your Saints and your Wigans, your Leeds, and there's a real big atmosphere, I thrive off of that. And regards getting involved in the game, obviously if your first few touches are good, then you build confidence and you can really enjoy the game. But then it can also go the other way, and if you have a bit of a stinker early on, it can really affect you, and you can try too hard to bounce back and so on. So the games where there's a lot of pressure on, I just feel brings the best out of me, and it's the other ones where there's not so many people in the crowd and my concentration's a bit away with the fairies. They're the ones that I need to work on.
I always think that playing in the backfield, two wingers and full back, that you've got to be psychologically robust, because if you make an error in those positions, it tends to lead, to a try. If you drop a ball, miss a tackle, get a decision wrong on the fringe, it tends to lead in a try. So, I sympathise with you with you're under enormous pressure.
Yeah, obviously you're kind of the goalkeeper, right? You're the last line of defence, and if you can be quite vulnerable out there. If it's all gone on wrong on the inside and you're left, with a 3-on-1, 2-on-1, you guess at who to go for, and you can look quite stupid at times. So so important, your defenders on the inside, how we talk a lot about how you work from 5-man and 4-man and their roles, and that's to, make your job easier. So I really think if your defence if you've got a brilliant defence, it never gets to us because your centre kind of squashes it and it's all done before that. But if it gets past that, you're in big trouble.
So Josh, we trade penalties. The game is locked at 2 apiece. I just want to touch on one of the Saints players here who was a significant threat throughout 2018, and that's Ben Barber. He was the man of steel that year and at times simply unplayable. However, in this game, it was nearly ominous. What was the tactics and discussion around Ben Barber?
I think just we were trying to rattle him. I know we were putting some hanging kicks in there, just trying to hang time on the ball. And as soon as he got it, we were trying to not hurt him, but try and disrupt his game and his game plan. Like I say, if we give Ben Barber the space and time, he was a lethal player, and he turned practically something into So we did put a good game plan on him, and we're just trying to take him out of the game. And if he's not playing well, half the team isn't playing well.
Tom, going on to your earlier point and Steve's message about hurting players, albeit I know he's trying to convey obviously in a legal way. Was that the message for Ben Barber as well?
Yeah, we did a lot of review on their types of play and their strength, and it's difficult with players like that because they've got everything. So they've got the pass, so you can't give them time to get that away. They can find the centre and the winger, but they've also got the step as well. So if you're banking on them pass and you come on their outside shoulder, they'll step and beat you back on the inside. So you can do too much review on a player. Obviously, if you keep watching their highlights and really seeing how good they are, then you're going to be thinking, oh dear, how am I going to defend this? So it's about getting the right balance, and obviously having the faith, as I said before, on those defenders around you. And we looked into him, and we managed to do a really good job on him. But a lot of it was, it was a cycle. It was completing. We always kick behind Regan Grace and try and force errors out of him, but he was sitting on the end of the line, so Barber was in that far corner. That meant if we had a good line chase down the middle, it deterred his threat of skipping across and getting a quick play the ball. And obviously the cycle continued. The forwards worked really hard and in turn that limited their field position, so they couldn't do the shift plays. And it went like that. And obviously we were in the grind for long periods of time. and they were going for the kicks, and we managed to get the tries. And he didn't have his best game on that occasion. And lucky enough for us, obviously, we got the win and on to the grand final.
The only other score in the first half was a Danny Richardson drop goal, which puts the scores at 3-2 to Saints. So going into the sheds, albeit losing, there must have been a sense of optimism and confidence around the team. I mean, we've kept Saints. I mean, we stopped Saints scoring in 40 minutes of rugby league, and in 2018 he was averaging what? He was averaging nearly 30 points per game in scoring. I mean, and only the season before we were averaging 24 points per game conceding. So what did Steve Price's coaching team do to address the defence and make it a lot more steely?
I think we throughout that year we'd always been competitive with them for periods of the game, but not the full 80 minutes. And when we'd reviewed and previewed for the game, we knew that we had to put a complete 80-minute performance. So what the coaches will do is they'll cut up previous games and show how well we've played for that period of game and what we've limited them to. So we knew for 80 minutes we had to put it together. And I think throughout, as you said there, it's 3-2 at half time. They've not scored. You know that it's working and buying in, and we've got the confidence in our attack that we'll be able to put points on the board if we just stick at what we're doing and keep building and building. So obviously people get tired through the game and they'll be struggling, and it's all about, that's where the team, your team ethos and being tough and resilient and helping each other and your camaraderie as a team and how tight you are comes in, because you've got the person outside you, the person inside you, you know, who's going to put their body, give 100% for you. And when in your time of need, when you're struggling and you've got him there saying, come on, I've got you, you know, that builds confidence and you find that next level. And I think obviously on the occasion and how big it was and the reward at the end of it, we were able to find that level and put in, you know, a complete 80-minute performance.
I mentioned Ben Bird, but Saints have got threats throughout the team, including the guys that you're up against. Josh, you're up against Regan Grace. What is it about Regan that you need to be worried about?
He's a wiry customer, you know. He can step off both feet. He ducks. He throws that dummy and goes under people. So yeah, he's a very elusive player, and you don't know what you're going to get with him. It can be, you know, as soon as you blink, he's in a different place. So you've got to be on him straight away.
Tom, likewise, you're coming up against Makinson, tough customer.
Yeah, he's always a brilliant player. He's got everything, you know. He can catch, he's fast, he's strong, he's a great work ethic, unbelievable finisher. So, you know, you're up against a big task whenever you do play against him. And to be fair, that always brings out the best of me. I like playing against a winger, you know, where he's tipped the best winger in the country. He gets a lot of hype, a lot of talk about him, and rightly so. So obviously when you play against him, you need to be on top of your game, otherwise you can get embarrassed. So always brings the best out in me.
I'm going to ask you now, fellas, obviously you've not come up against one another directly in your previous lives. However, what would have been on your tip sheet when you was in the opposition's team? Josh, I'll let you start first. So what would your tip sheet said about Tom?
Tommy, playing with him now, you know, he was always the person to get the sets going. So I think on our tip sheets, you know, was just to handle the back three, which probably we have on our tip sheets as well now. But Tommy was always the one to get, you know, Hull going. And once we controlled Hull back three, you know, we started to take control. But yeah, Tommy was up there with one of those that we had to keep an eye on.
Tom?
When I was at Hull, Wigan were the dominant team. I think Josh used to score like 40 tries a season, and we used to review their shift plays, and there was nothing like it. They had so many options, and Sam Tompkins, he was in his fine form, and we were reviewing it, and you were thinking, how do we stop it? And obviously Josh was always on the end, and as we've seen many times, you give him half a chance and he'll score you 2 tries. So it was all about damage control when we played Wigan and trying to restrict their opportunities and getting the ball to Josh, really, and we didn't do it very well.
As I mentioned, we're going at half time, slightly behind, 3-2. What would Steve's message be, Josh? What's the theme? How would he approach this?
He's not really one to rant. He was quite calm, I think, at half time. He knew that we were there or thereabouts. You know, like you said before, they were we had them where we wanted them. And we just had to, we had this game plan where we had to stick to it. And, like Tom was saying, need to play for that 80 minutes and, it all come together.
Tom, do you recall the half-time for this fixture?
Oh, I can't recall exactly what he said, but he's not really one. He has on some occasions, come in and gives a rollicking, when things have gone wrong. But whenever you're in the game, he more goes around and talks to you individually, says, a couple of positives, a couple of constructive criticism that you need to work on. And that was more about, like, look, the formidable St Helens, who haven't been touched all season, are 1 point ahead. We're in the game. He'll read out a few statistics, and then he'll say, what we need to do, and give belief really to the team. Say what the strengths that we've been doing, how we can exploit them if we just tweak this. The positive effects it'll have. And yeah, it's a very calming environment. And obviously, you then discuss with you. He'll sometimes say right side, middles, left, have a chat, see what you can work on. Just so you're all on the same page. And when you go back out there, we've got a saying. It says 100% clarity, 0% confusion. And I think that's the message he likes to get across at half-time, is what we need to do in the second half to go on to win the game.
Well, there was a bit of confusion straight after half-time when Saints scored first. The tricky kick through from Richardson and Luke Douglas ended up pouncing on it. Steph was unable to handle it. Can you recall what was said behind the post? So, as I mentioned earlier, we were going in at half-time, albeit 1 point behind, but we kept Saints scoreless. And then only a couple of minutes after half-time, we're behind the sticks. What was said, and what is the process behind the post, Josh?
I can't quite remember, but start of this year, we've got Steph stands in, we've just got one eye. I know sometimes at the back of the sticks, people can be shouting things from everywhere, and there's no, like I say, what Tom was saying, 100% I can't remember.
Clarity. 100% clarity. Zero.
That's me.
Clarity on that.
But we all need to be on the same page. We can't be going off from them taking the kick and everyone's thinking what's going to go, what we're going to do next. We all need to know. So, yeah, we just need one person to talk. And, yeah, we've got that this year. And, like I say, back in 18, I think we all just relaxed and stayed calm because we knew we had them where we wanted them. We just, like I say, we slipped up with that early try.
I mentioned Steph there unusually wasn't able to clean up Richardson's kick. Tom, what Steph like to play with? Obviously, he completes the back three with yourself and Josh.
Yeah, I think fullback is the hardest role on the pitch. The research and preparation they have to do on every team is ridiculous. Obviously, from what foot the kickers are to what the forward players do around the ruck on try line. He's got to organise his defence. It's a really tough job. And whenever you have full people covering a fullback, Steve will always say, "Where are you? What do you do here?" And I wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo. And often the fullback coming in, panics and says about 3 options before getting the right one. But Steph always has the answer to everything. He knows exactly where he needs to be, at what point, and he's the brains really behind the operation, and the fact of how well he will organise his defence and his troops, and steer the ship really and get everyone working together. And he does a fabulous job. Really good organiser, and he's the utmost professional. I think that's obviously why he's had such a long and successful career, because of how he is and how he lives his life really, and the work he puts in, and the meticulous process to being 100% prepared for each game. He's brilliant in that respect.
So 44 minutes into the game, we cut the deficit. A superb try from Jack Hughes, showing nimble footwork. Josh, obviously you played with Jack at Wigan, and sometimes I feel that he can come under the radar, doesn't always get the headlines, and gets through an unbelievable amount of work. How valuable is Jack, not only on field, but also for the off-field culture as well?
Yeah, very valuable. I've come through the ranks with Wigan at Jack, and he was always that player that he said never got the mention, but always put in a good shift. He was always consistent, never dropped the ball, never missed a tackle. And, he's been like that since he was about 14, 15. So, to be alongside him now being a co-captain, it's good because, he's learnt the tough way, really, at, being at Wigan and then getting moved on to Huddersfield, and it's built him up, and he's certainly the better player now, and he's took that role on as being co-captain, and he's trying to put his mark down a little bit in some ways. So
was you surprised that Wigan let him go? Understandably, they had Tompkins and Farrell obviously in the back row at the time as well.
Yeah, it was hard for a young lad probably coming through at the forwards, because at Wigan at the time there was a lot of, like you said, they had Hoffman was over at that time as well, so there was them key positions were hard to get game time. So Jack just needed to take his opportunity, and he had to move on.
So Richardson kicks another penalty. There's not much in the score now. Saints leading 11-6. Tom, you score your first try. A nice pass off Bryson Goodwin. Firstly, what was Bryson like to play outside?
Yeah, he was brilliant. He's the most aggressive man I've ever played with. He honestly in the games, shouting and screaming at any opponent, that tackled him in a certain way or put their hands in a certain place. He was fuming and just wanted, to ruin their lives. But he was a great bloke. He was ridiculously strong. Obviously, if you look at him physique-wise, he was very slight, very, very toned, and didn't look as strong as he was, if you get what I mean. And he'd just throw people off. Some of the carries he did, some of the breaks he'd made from nothing. I think he was just ridiculously strong, ridiculously aggressive, and he was great to play with and a really good bloke as well.
Despite the great pass off Bryson, the try still needed scoring, Tom. I think it was intelligent and brave play by yourself, by you going low and early, and letting the momentum go up, letting the momentum to take you over. Is that something you would practice?
It is. So depending on the terrain, some pitches are water before the game and then again at half time, so you can slide 5-6 meters if you need to when wet, and then some pitches they'll be really wet but they dry instantly. I don't know what they've got underneath the surface, and I've messed a couple up. There was Leeds last year. I was going for the corner and I tried to slide about 4 meters out and slid about a meter and just stopped dead, and one of the Briscoe brothers just knocked me into touch. So it's embarrassing when it gets wrong. I think at Wembley, when we played Catalan, in the first half, I had a try disallowed where I slid in from about 5 meters. But in the second half, I tried it again. First tackle from a scrum, slid about 2 meters, and then David Mead knocked me into touch. So if you get it wrong, you look stupid. Looking up on this occasion, it came off and I was able to get the try.
Yeah, I think you've got more right than you've got wrong, though, Tom, to be honest with you. I can recall a number of times you've executed this play excellently, mate.
Thank you, Carl.
68 minutes. Richardson kicks another drop goal, and the scores are level 12-all. From the resulting kickoff, Steph puts the ball dead, and Saints attacking our half again. Richardson hits another drop goal, 13-12. And if you recall, the drop goal hits the bar and goes over. Guys, are you thinking then, this is not going to be our day? What's the chap walking back to the halfway line?
I think, obviously, when stuff doesn't happen like that and hit the crossbar and go over, you think, oh, God, the God's against us here. And if you remember back to early on in that season, they got a penalty on just past his own half in the last minute of the game, and he kicked it. And you thought, surely not. At that time, Danielson was a bit of like, the up and coming, the golden boy, the next Sean Long, they were saying, for St Helens, and everything was coming off. But in that moment, you can't dwell on it and think, oh, it's not meant to be. You just got to get back to your systems, get in the process, get in the grind, and have trust that you will get your opportunities to score points, and when you do, you've got to be clinical and take them.
Josh, would you agree with that? You've played a number of big games previously at your previous club.
Yeah, definitely. There's that game plan. If you slide away from that game plan and one person goes away from what 17 or 16 lads are doing, it does throw the boys. So yeah, we was all on the same page. There were no, like I said, there were no fireheads. There were no one wanting to step out of the line and try and win it themselves. Everyone was on the same page, and yeah, we got through that game.
So just over 73 minutes, we're behind 13-12, clock ticking down. We're 30 metres out. It's play 4. Everyone's expecting us to go for the drop goal and level the score. we don't do that. It's a brave play. We push the pass, which results in Tom scoring, which I'll get onto shortly. But we don't go for the drop goal. We go for the big play. We go for the pass. We go for the brave play. Was that planned, Josh, or was that something that was ad hoc?
No, I think we do get to points, and like Tom was saying before, you have teams that wingers, centres might come flying out, and I think we got to the far post for the slingshot line to go, and luckily enough, it come off, and Tommy's doing his slide in the corner.
Tom, do you recall the play? Do you recall setting up for it or expecting us to go for a drop goal?
Yeah, so we planned all week for a play called Slingshot, where we took right in and you run a parallel line with the person inside you towards the corner. And we know that Makinson and... Was it Nguama? Was Nguama the centre? Who was the centre then?
Ryan Morgan.
Yeah, and we'd done a lot of work on them that they jammed, but there was a delay. They were a bit disjointed. So we thought, we can exploit this, and planned with Tuxeday all week. Went over and over and over. And I remember Lee Breers, being really particular about how well we executed it, and repetition and making us do it until we got it right. And then obviously, 73rd minute, we ship across, Makinson flies in, Bryson gets it. I was actually, technically, from how Lee would have liked it, I actually would have got it wrong because I'm too wide and need to be tucked more in. But obviously, just the and however, if I hadn't have scored, I'd have been in front of his laptop Monday morning going through it. So, play comes off, and obviously running down the wing. I think it was Richardson was covering, and I actually had the ball in the wrong hand. It's in my right hand, and it should be in the left. So I kind of saw him and thought I'd do a bit of a shimmy, a bit of a stop and go. Managed to get around him, and then obviously with my hand in the right, Barber was coming across really hard, and I think he thought I was going to do the slide again, get underneath him. So he kind of overcompensated for that, and I was able to step back inside and get over the line. Peru made a last-ditch attempt, but I kind of had the momentum and was able to swing my arm around and get the ball down.
Yeah, you're right, and similar to your first try, you made a nice pass off Bryson, but inside that was a lovely sublime flick from Stefan Ratchford. And as you say, you beat two players and had the strength to carry Peru over the line. I want to ask you both this question. During these moments, these massive plays, what are you thinking? Does it appear that time slows down, that you're in slow motion? What actually are you feeling, are you thinking when you're going through these big plays?
I just look at the whitewash, and that's my aim, that's my target. I've got to get to it.
Is it autonomous, Josh? Is it instinctive now that you've done it for so long?
Yeah, even though we're doing in training little scrimmage where it's just tick and pass, really. Do you know what I mean? I'm still trying to run my lines. I'll be stepping. I'll be trying to practice my little one hand. I'm not diving, but I'm putting myself in the position. If it does come to it in a game, I'll just pull it out of the bag.
Tommy, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think you zoom in on the whitewash and where you can score. Obviously, you've got to, normally the covering defence are coming pretty quick, so you've got to make a decision, in the moment. Are you going to go for the corner? Are you going to step in? Have you got to do a dive? Have you got to go low? And it's your ability, I suppose, to get that right 90% of the time, because that's what you, as a winger, opportunities can be few and far between, so you have to be clinical and you have to get that knack for scoring, tries in half opportunities, or just give them a glimpse and be clinical and getting that ball over the line. So as Josh said there's a lot of things you do in training just in your own mind, where you're practicing your body angles and putting it in which hand, and you fend and twisting and turning. So when you do get the opportunity in the game, you have a high success rate.
So Tom, you scored your second. There's unbelievable scenes in the away end. There's also unbelievable scenes pitch side. If you recall Steve Price's passion, it was fantastic to see. Is that something you like to see from your coach? Is a passion on the sideline, or would you prefer him cool, calm, sat in the stand? Admittedly, different games require different approaches. Yeah,
I think if it's an everyday league game and you just win normally, you wouldn't want them to be over animated, because obviously then that could affect that their emotions are all over the place and there's no real, consistency. But on the big occasions like that, I absolutely love to see that. That's just pure passion. We've scored late on. It's been such a tense game. Points to and fro. I think the league changed 6 times or something in that game, and that's just come from the heart. Steve, he's animated, he's buzzing, and he's just let it all out there. And I think on the big occasions with the late winners, there's nothing better than seeing your coach that, because you know how much they care, and it's fantastic to see.
Josh, that's something you like to see?
Yeah, like I say, as Tom was saying, it shows how much he cares about the boys, how much he cares about the team, and the passion he showed. He'll go down for a while. I think he'll remember that for a long time, will Steve?
Yeah, it was sensational TV. Obviously, the final whistle goes. We've won the game, off to another grand final at Old Trafford. Tom, what was it like post-game?
Obviously, with any semi-final, your celebrations are reserved because, the big ones coming up. So even if it's with the Challenge Cup, they always say, let's delay it. Don't go wild now. We've got the final, that's the big one. You get that one, and then you can, let loose. And obviously with the grand final, there's a lot of players have a lot of media responsibilities, and the club's obviously then got to organise everything. So it's very busy, very hectic time. We had to wait the next day, obviously, to see who we were playing, regards Wigan and Hull, and then the coaches have got to, clip all that up, get preview ready. Players obviously need to get your bodies. It was such an intense game. You've got lots of niggles. You've got to get your body right for the big one the next week. So there's actually not that much celebration from the team after a semi-final. It's all put on hold, for after the final.
Josh, what was you like post-game?
Yeah, buzzing. Coming back to rugby league from Union, and being in 2 finals in a short space of time was massive. And like I said, when we was waiting to find out who was playing and it come up with Wigan, I was a little bit anxious, but I wanted that bit of revenge. But it was one of those where you wanted to do well against your old team. So yeah, it was good times.
Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for the fantastic insight. That was excellent. I hope you enjoy the game. Please stay safe.
Thanks for having us. See you in a bit.
Take it easy.
They come, and there are fireworks on the pitch, there are flames on the pitch, and Terry O'Connor, I think there'll be plenty of that tonight.
Absolutely, I can't wait for this game. I think look, Saints have been the benchmark all year, and the challenge for Warrington is to stay with them. And Steve Price knows that there's pressure on his side, but he also knows that there's pressure on the Saints because everybody's expecting them to win. Interesting with Morgan Knowles starting at hooker, James Roby going off the bench, give him a bit of time. But I think that what Saints are expecting are Warrington to really go hard after him up the middle of the field, and the league leaders' shield belong to that man and his teammates. And like I said before, the standard setters, the team that everyone's been chasing all year, they've just not been able to quite beat them in crucial games. But this Warrington side, with some good matchups, the likes of Hill against Thompson, Clark against Roby, and I think the Warrington players have got a point to prove, Eddie. Everyone's writing them off, except the coach and the fans.
Well, everyone will be writing them off. John Wilkin looks highly relaxed, and hopefully Robert Hicks, the big match referee, will be highly relaxed as well. Warrington are being written off. It doesn't go down well with Chris Hill and company, but Saints have won all 3 matches against them this year. It's going to be a titanic struggle. Who's up for Old Trafford? Who wants it more? Justin Holbrook, at the end of his first full season in charge at St Helens, or will Steve Price wave the magic wand at the end of his first season in charge of the Warrington Wolves? Massive local derby. It doesn't come much bigger than this for these 2 sides. Saints against Warrington then. These 2 are 80 minutes away from the theatre of dreams. Promises to be a special 80 minutes, and more to come, of course, in 24 hours' time when it's the Wigan Warriors against Castleford. So, Stefan Ratchford's ready, Robert Hicks is ready. The whistle has been blown, and here we go. 80 minutes and counting to the biggest night of the year. Lomax is underneath the kick-off behind his own line. Thompson will drive the ball forward for St Helens, and Warrington. Well, that's a welcoming party for Luke Thompson, there's no doubt about that. Dom Peyrou now.
Well, they just want to make it into a dogfight, don't they? This Warrington side, get off the line, try and hit as hard as they can, and they'll need to be strong on the likes of Matty Lees and Luke Thompson. Very impressive youngsters with great go forward. Here he is again, Luke Thompson, second carry of the game.
In the England squad for the forthcoming Test series against New Zealand is Luke Thompson, and it's with Richardson, and he hands it off to Matty Lees, who got a late call to action this afternoon. Justin Holbrook deliberating because he's got virtually a full-strength squad to pick from, and that's not the best start at the end of their opening set. It bounces off Lomax's chest. Clark was on it in a flash, and here come Warrington on the counter.
But one of the most experienced players to make the mistake, Johnny Lomax. It happens to the best of players.
Now Chris Hill will take it forward for the Warrington Wolves. Three of their Peyrou just peeled off. Down he goes, the Warrington skipper. He's 26 metres away from the St Helens line. Tyrone Roberts needs a big game tonight.
That's what you like to see from him. Someone who's willing to have a dig at the line, take on the defence.
Clark gives it to Hill, the 20 metres out. Mike Cooper takes it forward again for the Warrington Wolves. Makes 10 good metres and more. Goes down on tackle number 4. Steve Price watching from low down tonight, right on the touchline, alongside John Clark, his conditioner. That's Ratchford. This is now Bryson Goodwin. Good job that Tommy Makinson held on to his ankles. Last tackle coming up then for Warrington. The 9 metres away. Here is Brown, goes back that way. Gives it then to Bodine Thompson. He slips one net. Peyrou is in quickly. And Warrington will have the turnover going against them, and Saints come up with the possession.
Well, a sensational start to this game. Look at the start in defence that Warrington had. They've got a destructive attitude when ball carriers are taking the ball up for St Helens. They're being met with 2, 3 and 4 defenders. They have to control that, make sure they get the contact right, but make sure they get that wrestle right to allow them time to retreat. When they've got the ball, they've got to be deliberate. A lot of emotion attached. I agree with all the sentiments before the game. It's going to be aggressive and it's going to be tough.
Oh, problem early here for Tommy Makinson, limping his way to the sideline. That could be a blow for St Helens early here in the opening 3 minutes. I'm sure they'll give him time to run the injury off, whatever it is. Here is Mark Percival now. Mike Cooper makes a grab for him. Percival gets away. He won't get away from Westwood. Good work from the Warrington defenders. King was in there very quickly as well. Makinson being given time. The ball is lost. It's a knock-on. Not the start St Helens wanted. 2 early errors in the opening 3 minutes.
Well, one thing you've got to do in big games is complete your sets. They've had the ball on 2 occasions. They've lost it. They've not got to the kit. The gift in 40, 50 metres to Warrington because of the mistakes. It was manhandled Percival. And when you look at Saints, I think the left edge is lethal with the likes of Grace and Percival. And Justin Holbrook knows that you can't turn the ball over. They've started the game with intent. Warrington, the forwards are running hard. In defence, they're hitting in numbers. They're trying to slow this Saints side down because that is the focal point of the game. That man there, when he gets on, you'll see them speed the game up, but for now it's just all about keeping it nice and tight in defence.
Well, it's anything but tight at the moment for St Helens because they've had those 2 early errors, and St Helens on the back foot here and under pressure because this is Bodine Thompson struggling to his feet for Warrington. He plays the ball to Ratchford. Here comes Hill on the charge, and Hill going straight at Wilkin. Down he goes. There's Chris Hill. Darrell Clark to Westwood. Westwood then finds Roberts. Roberts pops the ball up. But there's no way through for Jack Hughes. Been a big week already for Jack Hughes. He will skipper the England Knights on their tour to Papua New Guinea at the end of the season. This is Brown. Brown gets the pass away. That looked as though it might have been forward. Bodine Thompson certainly had to reach forward and collect it. Here's Brown again. Stabs the kick in, or attempts to, and Ben Barber picks it up off the ground. Right, let's see. Roby we've seen warping up on the sideline. Makinson limping. Bill Arthur has got news of it all.
Tommy Makinson seems to be okay. Brief bang on the ankle. He looks all right. Physio's checked him out. The mystery ahead of this game was James Roby on the bench, and all sorts of rumours going around before kick-off. Even one that Roby wasn't fit and wouldn't play. Another one that he's carrying a bit of a knock. Well, the word from the Saints camp is that they've decided to go with Morgan Knowles starting in the fire and frenzy of the start of this game, when Warrington are going to be throwing everything up the middle at St Helens, and then bring Roby on once they've taken some of the sting out of the Warrington Wolves. That is the theory, and spare a thought for poor Kyle Amor, who doesn't even make the 17, having featured for so long this season, but has been the man to pay the price or make way today. So Kyle Amor sits it out. James Roby on the bench.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, Kyle Amor very unlucky to miss out on this semi-final, but that is the problem when you've got virtually a fully fit squad from which to choose. Roby, of course, the rumours would have been fueled by the fact that he wasn't named in the England squad this week, but Darrell Clarke, who just got the ball away there to Bodine Thompson, was. Maybe that's where the rumours had stemmed from, the fact that Roby isn't going to be playing for England this autumn. Brown gets the ball away to Roberts now as Warrington look for the first try of the match with Ratchford. Ankles grabbed by Lomax. Finished off by Zebtea, and Roberts again planks the ball right into the arms of Barber, but a good chase.
Well, it's been such a frantic start to the game. That's the first completed set, the first steady set of the game, but it's backed up with that vicious defence that Warrington are going into this game with.
Penalty here, offside. Warrington too quickly out of the blocks.
You've got to have a lot of energy, you've got to have a lot of enthusiasm, and you've got to get off the line as well when you're defending up near your opponent's trying. But what you've also got to do is work with the referee, be disciplined, don't gift those easy meters. Look at that. It's 35 metres that they've gifted just by giving that penalty away. They've not had to earn the right to gain those metres, Saints.
And the St Helens supporters find their voice as Saints begin this set of 6, 5 metres inside the Warrington half of the field. It's Wilkin who helps it on to Matty Lees. Playoff debut for young Matty Lees. Anything but for Wilkin. He finds Richardson. Here is Peyroux now. Peyroux making it to the 30-metre line on tackle number 3. Matty Knowles the dummy half. Morgan Knowles the dummy half. He gets the ball away, and it's Lomax brilliantly picked up one-handed by Barber under intense pressure from Toby King. Now it's Percival. Percival on an angled run. He's missed by 2, missed by 3. Peyroux. And then out wide, but he couldn't get the ball away, and he loses it in contact. Here now is Bryson Goodwin for Warrington.
Well, good defence from Warrington over on the right-hand side. John Wilkin come up with a very good play when he went nice and direct, that speed at the line, and tipped the ball on. They know that they've got to be absolutely on song when he looks to try and offload that ball. Again, there's a penalty here.
I don't think St Helens have made a worse start to a game, Eddie, all season. You know, in terms of the ball control, they've lost it now on 4 occasions. Conceded a penalty here, and there's every invitation here for Warrington, who may have been lacking in confidence and belief to start this match, but certainly won't here now after 8 minutes.
Bodine Thompson then for Warrington gets it away to Clarke. Makinson rather, there's nothing wrong with him. This now Thompson again, another good run from him. We've seen a lot of it in the opening exchanges as Bodine Thompson. 6th game since joining from Lee Centurions. Here is Bryson Goodwin. He's wrestled to the ground on tackle number 3. Darrell Clarke at dummy half. Little run from him, trademark style.
They're throwing a lot of traffic at Danny Richardson, aren't they?
Goodwin into centre field to Brown. Now Hill taking on Luke Thompson. Dominic Peyroux. Oh, and he gets the ball away, but the referee gives Warrington a penalty. And Steve Price says we'll have the 2.
Well, they called release, didn't he, the referee, Robert Hicks. He wanted them to just release the player, let him play the ball. And you can see here, just trying to slow Chris Hill down. They were setting up on the left again to come back on the left.
And that's a forced mistake, that, I believe.
I've called release, and then you take him to ground. That's what the penalty's for.
Well, he called release. He told them to leave him alone, Stuart. Then they took him to ground.
Well, that's it. It's an upright tackle. The referee calls held. They have to release the players, and they continue to take him to ground. The ball came loose, which is what the Saints fans have seen. But the offence was before that. He's already called held. and they take him to ground. And that's what the penalty's for, quite rightly.
And it's the determination of Chris Hill to stand upright, not to be dominated or dictated to
John, you need to take your team
in the tackle.
back.
When we go back to not the last match, but the match before in July at this ground, St Helens 8 behind at half-time, and Warrington the far better side in that first half. They were physical back in July, they were fast, they were quick, they were skillful, and it looks like they're going the same way this evening.
Tyrone Roberts, will this be the last time in a Warrington jersey, or will that come at Old Trafford next week? He's going to take the first shot at goal. 12 metres out, almost bang in front. This should be a 2-point Warrington lead. Roberts with 29 goals to his credit this season. Took the goal-kicking responsibility late on, makes no mistake, and Warrington have an early advantage.
Well, they get the penalty on the back of the good work from Chris Hill. Not willing to go down, not willing to give up his feet. The captain leads by example all the time. And he caught in two minds. Do you keep the pressure on, or do you take the 2 points? Knowing that Saints will have some good periods. It's not been a good opening 10 minutes for them, but they will have some good times in this game, I'm sure. Warrington have got to stick with them, though.
It has been a shaky opening 10.5 minutes from St Helens. I suppose in many ways they will be relieved to be only 2 points adrift, but here's another penalty going Warrington's way.
Well, sometimes you've got to credit the way that Warrington have been playing. You can see there that there was a hand in on Mike Cooper from John Wilkin. They're dominant when they're carrying the ball. They're landing on the front. You can see, look, straight away, he's looking to get to his knees, get to his elbows, to jump up and play the ball quickly.
Come on, Mark. Deb.
Well, no doubt it was a penalty. He was knocked out of his grasp.
Dominic, play
And that's the third successive penalty that the Warrington Wolves have had in this first half. Toby King gets to his feet, plays the ball to Clark. Here comes Ben Westwood, the veteran of this Warrington side, but he loses none of his enthusiasm. Clark in centre field will go down the right-hand side to Roberts. Oh, and that bounces off the chest of Jack Hughes. Zero tackle being called here.
It's a big tackle by Matty Lees on Ben Westwood, and sometimes the ripple effect of those big tackles when players are bounced back is the next ball carrier just has a little sly look out the end, at the corner of his eye, wondering what's coming. Jack Hughes, terrific player that he is, makes a rare mistake.
Well, this is a semi-final. The stakes are so high, but the mistake rate is rising too.
But it's all around the play of the ball. You know that if the man who's got the ball, and Regan Grace, if he jumps up, you're not set. There's three markers around. You don't want to leave a player on the floor, a defensive player on the floor. You've got to try and slow him down, but you've got to try and do it cleanly as well.
Thompson takes control of that situation, drives it in on tackle number 1. Knowles again at dummy half. He looks for the runners. Matty Lees will take it forward for Saints. 28 metres away from the Warrington line. It's now with Richardson. Shaped as though he might dab the kick through. Zed Taylor will take it forward. Lost in the playoff semi-final, of course, last year as the Saints did. Richardson gets it away to Barber, and Barber makes inroads into the Warrington defence before he's pulled down by Thompson and Brown. Is that a penalty? No, referee says it isn't. Knowles to Wilkin, with a space for Lomax. Lomax again, second effort, makes good ground, gets to within a metre or so of the line. Last tackle coming up here for the Saints then. Hands in, it's a penalty, might be level in a moment.
On the last play as well, Eddie. 5th tackle, done all the hard work. He had to just contend with one more play, and Saints going for 2 points. Ben Barber, when he goes out the back, you've got to get it right. Bryson Goodwin shot the line, tried to close him down, looking to shift the ball to the wingers. You can see Stephen Ratchford just too long in that tackle, and Justin Holbrook says, yep, they'll go for the 2, we'll square it all up.
It's easy to get frustrated with those little infringements at the play of the ball. You think Robert Hicks a bit too much whistle, but it's actually both sides struggling, trying to find some dominance. See John Wilkin just having a little conversation with the referee. What are you looking for? But both of the sides stick with this game. It'll unfold, it'll open up.
Yeah, that's why I went with it, mate. Yeah.
So Danny Richardson, his picture framed in the big screen behind him, weighing up the range here. And the scores are level. Saints 2, Warrington 2.
Well, it'll please the Saints fans now, knowing that the dominant team has been the Warrington side, but with that man who, over the last 2 years, hasn't he excelled? Andy Richardson made his debut in round 1 in 2017 against Leeds Rhinos.
Stuart, I know there's a lot at stake. We've only been playing 15 minutes. Every player on this field is in the ear of the referee.
Well, it's actually a bit the other way around. Robert Hicks is getting in the ear of some of the players. He's trying to get the game to open. He's concerned that players are keen to slow the opposition down, and he wants to get the message across to them.
I suppose the message will get home when he keeps blowing the whistle for the penalties.
Well, let's be honest, though, that's what coaches say. Look, you've got to make sure that you hit hard, you control them, you take them to ground on your terms. You don't let them play the ball quickly. And when someone's getting a one-on-one tackle, if he is landing on his front, he's obviously going to win that ruck. So you're trying everything in your powers to do it, to slow them down.
3 very good tackles there from the Warrington side there to sort of stop St Helens rolling forward. And that's got to be their aim of them. They're getting up here quickly. If you think about Catalan's success in the semi-final against Saints, disruptive defenders getting up quickly from the referee, up in an onside position and stopping Saints go forward.
This is a good run from Matty Lees, meanwhile. Last tackle here, that was a quick play, the ball. Richardson, they're running it here. This is Payru, it comes out wide to Makinson. Makinson thumps the ball into the centre of the field, and that's easy for Roberts. Now here's Josh Charnley.
Well, he's a better player than that Dominic Payru. He had to make sure that that pass that he threw hit his centre, Ryan Morgan, who then in turn had Tommy Makinson outside of him. It was a bit of a sloppy pass, and as I say, he's a better player than that Dominic Payru.
Some excellent work from Matty Lees, both sides of the ball. We saw him a moment or two ago make 12, 15 metres for his side. His defensive effort is top class at the minute.
Brown to Ratchford, Ratchford then to Bryson Goodwin. Great tackle low by Makinson, finished off by Ryan Morgan. On halfway, Warrington with Bodine Thompson taking it now into St Helens territory. Last tackle coming up, good defensive stint here from Saints, only 33 metres made. There'll be more with this kick. Goes fairly high and straight up in the air though from Kevin Brown. Then Barber is the man who pouches it safely. Barber looking for a big finish to his season with St Helens.
I agree with you. I think he looks determined to go out on a high. On a bit of a wobbly patch, didn't he? Midway through the year, you can't doubt his talent. He's a tremendous player, and he wants to play in these big games. Big games like this bring out the best in Ben Barber.
Yeah, Ben Barber heading off back home to Australia. St Helens this week announcing that Lachlan Coote will be coming up as his ready-made replacement from the North Queensland Cowboys. They're not taking their eye off the Boyle, the Saints back room. That was a lovely little break from Lomax. It was a good job that someone got a hand on him. Here now is Richardson. It was Chris Hill defensively. Richardson, crossfield kick. Lineham's underneath this. He was tackled in the air. Ryan Morgan tackles him in the air. It's a penalty. That's a relieving penalty.
He just had to pull back a bit, didn't he? Let him catch the ball or make an attempt to go for the ball himself. He's got to touch the ground before you can make contact. If you would have just pulled your run up a bit, because that, let's get it right, that kick was outstanding. Look at this, Johnny Lomax, he's looking for somebody on the inside. Everyone else was pushing up on the outside, but probably just switched off on the inside, which is where they were needed.
Time off. Wait.
Referee wants the second ball moving off the field. No one's bothered, so he'll do it himself. Don't miss it, Robert. Warrington then on the back of that penalty. This is Ben Westwood. 37 years young is Benny Westwood. 6 tries in playoffs for Warrington, including one in the 2013 Grand Final against Wigan. And who knows, they might be facing Wigan in the Grand Final 2018. Wigan and Castleford with an argument to settle at the DW Stadium tomorrow night in the second semi-final. This is the first semi-final of the Betfred Super League race to Old Trafford. And Chris Hill gets the ball away neatly out the back, finds Darryl Clark. He's got a couple of Saints defenders on the ground as well as a result of that.
That has to be the key to their success, in my opinion. An offload to a fast player from a forward. You can't see them passing their way through the Saints.
Jack Hughes again for Warrington.
Last move.
Gets to tackle number 5. Last one coming up then for the Wolves as they go down the short side with Roberts. Another kick high. Regan Grace is underneath it. The ball goes backwards. Now then, that'll be interesting.
Scrum down.
Head and feed to Warrington. I thought so, because Regan Grace played at it, and the ball played the man for Warrington, not the other way round.
There was a lot of players just stood around in the Saints jersey. No one really wanted to take control. Matt Percival's looking at Regan Grace. Ben Barber is looking at Johnny Lomax. There was 4 players around there. Somebody had to call for that ball, and James Roby ready to get on to the field. Quicken the ruck players. I think it's Dominic Peru that's leaving the field for Saints.
I don't think that was in the script to you. That looks like that might be an injury to Dom Peru. The Roby is on, so the 2 St Helens nominees for the Man of Steel 2018, that will be decided on Monday night at the Glittering Banquet in Manchester. Ben Barber and James Roby. Can they hold off the challenge of Wigan's John Bateman, who is the other nominee for the Man of Steel in 2018? This is Chris Hill. Now it's Darrell Clark. Gets it away to Brown. Brown will give it then to Roberts. He'll attack the line. Percival and Lomax dealing with the threat. Toby King is behind him at dummy half. Here Clark again. Now Cooper. Mike Cooper takes the ball forward. He turned 30 years of age last week, did Mike Cooper.
John Line. Go 3.
Brown and Thompson.
4. Move, Luke.
4 tackles gone, but Warrington inching towards that St Helens line. They're 5 metres away here. Westwood fires the pass to Brown. Brown looks for the runners. It's Hill.
Left.
And down goes Chris Hill on the last. Closer to the post, but again 5 metres short of the line. Clark comes down the left-hand side. Brown stabs the kick in, and Ryan Morgan just got a hand to it. Just managed to knock the ball dead.
There's a very different setup when they're trying to attack their opponent's line. Warrington have Kevin Brown over on this side with a short option and a long option. When Saints are near Warrington's line, they're looking for the pass to Ben Barber out the back, looking for those sweeping plays.
Well, Warrington arriving as underdogs in many people's eyes. In the opening 20 minutes, they've been anything but.
They've got the bit between the teeth, haven't they? The way that they're defending, it's a huge advantage. Well, when you've got someone like Kevin Brown, when you are close to Saints' line, who's got a good tactical brain, he knows how to break games down, and Steve Price will probably give them the freedom, but the game plan to go out there and just play what's in front of them. Enjoy yourself, but let's get through it together as a team.
Yeah, discussing what's going on the field with the brains trust, Lee Breers and Johnny Clark. This is Darrell Clark now waiting at dummy half. Gets the ball to Kevin Brown. Brown pops it up once again to Bodine Thompson. Thompson gets away from a couple, and Luke Thompson comes back at him.
There again, he's seeing a lot of the action, isn't he, Bodine Thompson?
This Brown now in centre field, showed it and then gave it to Roberts. Roberts across the line. There's Jack Hughes again. Big test of this St Helens defence. It's been relentless pressure on the defence from Warrington. Westwood. Oh, the ball though is gobbled up by Knowles, and Warrington looking for a knock on. The referee says play on.
Well, good pressure on the inside then. The man who's carrying the ball, Benny Westwood, he's looking to hit the man out the back, but he can feel the Saints player just rushing up trying to hit him. Good work from Kevin Brown as well, controlling Tommy Makes, and know how good he is, how many tackle busts he can get in a year. Along with him, Ben Barber, Mark Percival, very dangerous, along with this man.
Here goes Roby. Gets the pass away to Lomax. Good ball too. There's a bit of space on this left-hand side. Percival finds Zeb Taylor. He is scratched to the ground by Toby King. Last tackle here now for St Helens. Sets of 6 are being got through in rapid style here.
Well,
was Richardson hit after the ball was kicked then?
Well, nobody wanted a bar of that high kick. Both players in the backfield for Warrington allowed that ball to bounce. Big tackles again. We've already highlighted, I think Tez has mentioned it a couple of times, they're trying to get at Danny Richardson. That means that Dominic Peru, who's left the field now, has had to work really hard not to allow those runners, particularly Bodine Thompson, to get to him. It's now LMS's turn and Morgan Knowles.
That was a solid run from Joe Philbin. Here's Kevin Brown again. Gets it away to Bryson Goodwin. Morgan doing well with help from James Roby. Brown, high, deep kick. A tester for Ben Barber. He's up to the task, and he then gives it straight away to Regan Grace.
Good work from the back three from Saints. Then difficult for Kevin Brown to to find the floor then. The wingers had dropped back, then Barber had dropped back, looking to link up on player one.
Plenty of changes made by both coaches.
It's a quick game, isn't it?
It is very quick. Luke Douglas. Roby now, quickly from Billingham. He looks for Luke Thompson. Thompson breaks the first line of defence. What a run! But I tell you what a tackle from Hughes. This now is Roby. Roby on an angled run, trying to go away from the big man. Ben Murdoch-Masilla, Mike Cooper is there as well. Joe Philbin is there too. Last tackle coming up here for Saints. Barber to Richardson. Measured kick to the right-hand side, looking for Tommy Makinson. Makinson palms the ball down. It's free, and it's with Ratchford. Ratchford hacks the ball forward. The bounce is not the kindest. He goes away from Richardson. He goes away from Barber. Comes back, and Barber has another snap at him.
Well, that's just how good Stephen Ratchford is. And Steve Bright saying, get up with him. Make sure you support him. You've got to make sure your transition is good from defence to attack.
Oh, Regan Grace. Come to daddy!
Oh, that was a sitter, that, Eddie, on Toby King. Well, Philbin trying to take the team forward, but that run from Luke Thompson was absolutely outstanding.
This is warming up. It was scrappy in the opening 10. Mistakes, nerves, both sides. Things have settled down now. It's a high-quality game all of a sudden. Bryson Goodwin gets it away to Thompson. That's the Bodine variety of Warrington. He goes down on the last tackle. 25 metres away from the St Helens line. Will play the ball. Now it's with Brown. Brown to the corner. Difficult one for Makinson. He manages to pouch it. Oh! And then he's collared and clattered. Was it Goodwin? Was it Hughes? I think it's Bryson Goodwin by the looks.
Well, straight away he apologises. Like Tommy Makinson, you watch him when he gets the ball. Like he accelerates, the timing's always wrong. It's Jack Hughes that goes over the top. Tommy Makinson not making a big deal of it. He was trying to get up. He was struggling. Luke Thompson, like I say, you just need one big run, one big charge to get you going forward. So he's a tremendous player. I think he's been the best drop forward all year in Super League. And then this man, all of a sudden, you're defending your line. You're looking for your key playmakers to read what's in front. If there's a breakdown in a pass, if there's a breakdown in a play, you get the ball. And then have a little look at this. Grace on Toby King. Wow. This is semi-final football, Eddie.
Isn't it just? Isn't it just? And Tommy Makinson, he got one under the chin, definitely. There is Luke Thompson. He'll be in the England squad, facing the Kiwis. He won a grand final as a teenager. There's the swinging arm from Jack Hughes.
Yes, mate, thank you.
Ryan Morgan needing to be patched up as well.
I think this is just a penalty, Eddie. I don't think it's anything more than that.
I think it's a case of mistaken identity, Stuart. He's called for Bryson Goodwin. And he's saying it's not me. Bryson Goodwin said it's not me.
Okay, mate, well, there's contact on the head, it's a penalty. We have to be a little bit more careful around the head area.
Not that I'd want to rob a bank or anything, Eddie, but I wouldn't want to rob a bank with it.
Well, Bryson Goodwin, I've come to you, sir, but it wasn't me.
Say Tommy Makinson, like, when he gets the ball, you know that you've got to go in hard, you've got to make sure that you're very good. He's got good footwork at the line. He accelerates between two defenders, causes you to think about different options. What tackle are you going to go into him with? And all of a sudden, before you can realise what tackle you're going to come up with, he's already through the gap. He's already in the side of you.
Well, I'm surprised they kicked to Makinson as much as they have so far in this game, because you'd suspect that the preferred option if you're a Warrington player would be to kick to Regan Grace and put him under as much pressure. His first big semi-final experience here. High kicks, players coming at him.
But sometimes, Phil, you take the kick to him if your defensive line's up there to take him out player one. You don't want him in tackle 2 or 3 when they're on the front foot.
Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook leading with the left elbow. And getting a bit back from Joe Philbin on the ground. Thompson again.
Has he got a sidestep? Luke Thompson, he just picks out a defender, just runs straight into them.
If you were a defender facing him, you wish he had a sidestep. It's now Luke Douglas.
Last tackle plays have been big this year for Saints. Passing it, not kicking it. We've had lots of kicks so far. This is the fourth. There'll be one more perhaps after this. Watching the game unfolds, Saints will pass it on the last tackle, not always kick it.
Well, here they go. Now then, will Richardson kick? No, he's holding on, and well,
that isn't a problem for them. Running it and passing it is what they've done successfully. 8 of the 13 tries that St Helens have scored this season have been on the last tackle, and not one of the 8 has had a kick in it. They've run it and run it successfully. Pass when they pull up to the defenders. That's the first time they've tried it, 26 minutes in. They'll do it again, and it will not surprise me if they score from that play.
I don't mind that with Danny Richardson. He's kicked more attacking kicks than any other player in Super League. So people are probably looking at it thinking, right, he's going to kick it. So then all of a sudden he takes you on. You want to see that in a half-back. You want to be guessing what he's going to do.
Well, St Helens have beaten Warrington 3 times this year, 2 of them actually in Warrington. Here tonight, though, after 27 minutes, there is nothing to choose between these two sides. Top and 4th after the 30 weekly rounds. Tomorrow it's 2v3. Next Saturday, who knows what it's going to be. When we're all at the grand final. Wigan cast tomorrow, though, 7:30, Sky Sports Arena, and on Sky Sports Mix as well. The second semi-final in the Betfred Super League 2018. Barber safe as houses underneath the high kicks so far tonight. Oh. Getting the treatment from the Warrington defenders.
Well, that's what you want. If you are holding a player up, you want someone to come in and really jar the ribs. Again, Regan Grace, who do you kick to, the back 3 of this Saints side? All of them have got pace, all of them are strong, all of them got good footwork.
Oh, this is a run from Makinson. Makinson goes through Philbin, he's hurt him. Makinson has got support with Richardson. Oh, he couldn't get the pass away. Richardson's going crazy. And Richardson from dummy half has to kick the ball away. There's a bit of argy-bargy meanwhile on the floor. This is Roby down the left-hand side with Lomax. Disjointed defence from Warrington. They've got a couple of players now getting back. Last one coming up here for Saints. Roby will attack the line. Roby will dab the kick through. Is it a knock-on by Warrington? It is.
Hasn't he made a difference, James Roby? What a master stroke by Holbrook to keep him on the bench. Look at the break here. Tommy Makinson brushes off defenders. And you think for all money, all he has to do is find a pass to Richardson, but just in the frame is the big shadow of Tom Lineham.
And that's what I'm talking about with Tommy Makinson. The second or third tackle, he comes through. It's very difficult, and then Justin Holbrook, he knows that it's a chance that's been blown.
Why doesn't he put the ball into 2 hands to give himself a chance of passing the ball? I think that would be the biggest frustration and question you'd ask here. He's in a situation here, he keeps the ball tucked in the left hand. It's almost impossible for him in that position there now to pass it to Richardson, even if he wanted to.
It seems an easy 2-on-1, but he probably thought it. Could he get a pass away? It was Tom Lineham. What was going through his mind? But as I say, he's so explosive, that player.
Well, Makinson one of 4 in the England squad for later on. Lomax, Percival, Thompson are the others. And well, come on, fellas, we need a ball. We need a ball to keep this sensational game going.
Come on, guys, let's get back, please. I want us to go.
Anyone got one?
Head. Oh, Danny. Stay, Tyrone. Out.
Crowd packed in tonight, wanting to know who's off to Old Trafford. 2-2, Lomax. 9 metres away from the line. 1 tackle gone, though. Plenty in the bank here for St Helens. Here is Luke Douglas again. Douglas spun to the ground by Mike Cooper and company. Roby goes the other way. Thompson on the charge. Good hit by Philbin. Looked like he damaged his shoulder or something in the run that he couldn't stop Makinson from making. Here is Barber. This is Ryan Morgan. He gets away from Lineham. He can't get away from Bodine Thompson.
Problem with Danny Richardson in front of the sticks here.
This is Lomax. Now it's McCarthy Scarsbrook. Down he goes. The ball comes free. It's play on. Douglas. He'll take the tackle this time. Last one here then for Saints. Roby fires the pass to Lomax. Lomax back to Luke Thompson again. Stephen Ratchford good in defence. Great defence, Warrington.
Well, he's good in attack and he's good in defence as well, isn't he, Stephen Ratchford? Saved a couple of chances that Saints have had at the bat, and the Warrington fans really trying to lift the side, and Danny Richardson still struggling. I think when Phil referenced before about the semi-final in the Challenge Cup, about the joy that Warrington had, or the joy that Catalan had, sorry, when they played against Saints, about how quick the defensive line was. I think it was the pressure they were putting on the playmakers from the ruck. They weren't letting them play the plays, and that really disrupted them.
But Warrington won't want a repeat of 2016 when they lost in both major finals in the one season, emulating the Leeds side of 2005. Knock on here.
Oh, wow. How many times do you see Darrell Clark make a mistake? And it's not something I'm going to answer my own question. He's normally lethal when he pops out at dummy half. He's more than matched by Morgan Knowles, who started at hooker, who's dropped into the back row since Dominic Peru has left the field. A little bit of fatigue now, half an hour on the clock. Players breathing deeply, trying to find that second win just before half-time.
9 minutes to the break. Referee anxious to get this scrum formed and get the semi-final restarted. Richardson, who was down, looked injured, is now back on his feet and fed the scrum. Here is Ryan Morgan. It's a big test of the Warrington defence again coming up here. With Lomax down the left side to Zed Taylor. Murdoch Masilla in quickly. Chris Hill's back out there on the field. Roby, Richardson again. The runner is Luke Douglas. 3 gone. 15 metres away, St Helens. Roby down the short side. Lomax. Pulled back by Murdoch Masilla. He says play the ball. Well, Murdoch Masilla was lying in the ruck. This is Percival. Percival can't get through Jack Hughes, can't get through Chris Hill. Joe Philbin there as well. And down he goes. Last one here for Saints. Repeat set or something better. That's what they'll be wanting. Lomax to Barber. Barber slides the kick through. Brilliantly policed by Stefan Ratchford.
He's there again, Eddie. He was involved in the tackle the other side of the sticks. That's his job. He knows what his job is. He's got to be good at the back. A good test of Warrington's character, the way that they're defending. Look at him getting across behind. He's organising his troops. His reaction, his adjustment. And he cops a bit of a high shot from Johnny Lomax as he's going down.
More of a slap than a punch, but it was a swinging slap.
It is, and the video referee, as we've said on the last couple of rounds, he's had a look at it. It's not worth a sin bin or a non-report, and so the referee just goes with his decision on the field, and it'll be a play the ball.
Tackle one, Steph.
Crowd quiet for the first time tonight as Ratchford plays the ball to Darrell Clark. Here comes Tom Lineham back in the side after missing the last 2, suspended. Only other absence was in the cup tie of Bradford. 5 tries from Lineham, by the way, in the Super 8s as well, in 5 appearances, so bang in form. These two sides both bang in form. You would expect nothing else in the semi-final stages of a Super League season.
Well, exciting game, and we're still waiting for the first try, aren't we? We don't need tries all over the field to get excited about rugby league.
This is Roberts with a kick down the line. There's no... Oops, that went forward.
It looked like he pulled the ball forward, and even though he's running backwards.
Yeah, he got away with that.
It's very difficult, though, for the toucher. As you look at him, pulls it forward, goes off his leg.
He does look slightly unnerved to me, Regan Grace. A couple of times he's had a high ball, shied away from it a little bit. Jack Ashworth certainly won't shy away. He's on the field now. That's his first involvement with the ball. Anxiety all over that back line.
McCarthy Scarsbrook.
Eddie, now I think when you look at this Warrington side, the middle 3, the likes of Chris Hill, Darrell Clark, I know Cooper's off now, but they play big minutes. Saints will try going at them as the game goes on.
Percival off the outside of the right boot because it was the last, straight into the arms again of Stefan Ratchford. And don't forget the £1 million game, first time ever across the pond in Canada. Toronto Wolfpack against the London Broncos. Will be starting on Sunday at 6:30, Sky Sports Arena, in the main event for the £1 million match, then promotion to Super League for one of those 2 clubs. Toronto, what a fairy tale it is for them. London Broncos. Who wants to come into Super League next year and be involved in matches like this?
Should be an excellent game, shouldn't it? Both sides. London have already beat Toronto this year. I know it was at home, but I'm sure that Danny Ward, the coach for the Broncos, will be going over there full of confidence to try and upset the party over in Toronto.
Well, you talk about confidence. Warrington needs some confidence by finding a way of breaking through the St Helens defence. We've got 6 players here. They can't always hope that at the end a high kick and they're contested and they'll bounce to their favour. They need some creative play here from one of the halves.
Hold. Go one.
Darryl Clark just inside Saints territory, finds Brown, he finds Roberts. Roberts then to Ratchford. Good hands, out it comes to Tom Lineham. Oh, he just brushes away from Richardson, ball over the top then to Bryson Goodwin. He escapes the net of Roby, can't get away from Ashworth. Just managed to hang on to it there, did Bryson Goodwin, under all that pressure. This now Brown, here is Roberts. Roberts says to Philbin, you have a go. He drives it forward on tackle number 3, on his knees, gets the feet, plays the ball to Clark. This is Brown to Hill. Hill gets the ball away. Smuggles it backwards, finds Brown. Here once again is Thompson, that's Bodine Thompson. He keeps the ball alive and finds Hughes. 4 tackles gone, 10 metres away. Clark waiting at dummy half, fires the pass to Hill. He in turn gives it to Roberts, drops it off then to Ben Murdoch-Masilla. The big fella rolling forward. Held up by the Saints defence. That's how close Warrington are. Oh, Clark, it went backwards. Saints have stopped, Warrington haven't. Drop goal from Ratchford. Misses.
He's missed it straight in front of the sticks. It was a sloppy end to the set, wasn't it?
You could understand the attempt at the drop goal. It's 2-all. The last time we played on this ground, we were 12-all, weren't we, going into the last few minutes? Warrington missed 3 drop goals. 3 drop goals in the final few minutes of that match before eventually losing out to a penalty goal. And it doesn't look, with the defence quality today, as it hits the upright and bounces left, that we're going to see a try-fest.
I don't suppose you should in the semi-final, should you? You shouldn't see a blowout scoreline. I don't think we'll get one tonight. 4 minutes to the break, it's 2-2. And this now is Roby, goes down the short side to Barber. And Barber's a man with the magical key to open any defence, but he can't get through Warrington this time. Saints, of course, last year involved in that fantastic semi-final against Castleford that ended with the first ever golden point finish. And Castleford got themselves to Old Trafford. They're 80 minutes away from a return trip in 2018. Here's a drop goal from Richardson. He gets it. He kicks it.
Well, he's good, isn't he, tactically? He's a good player. I think that's his 5th drop goal that he's kicked this year, Danny Richardson. He knows that it's going to be very vital. Clark has already talked about it, saying about Warrington going for the 1 point down there. Stephen Ratchford not getting it. Danny Richardson nailing it.
Richardson reading the Ratchford script, perhaps. Thinking, well, that's not a bad idea. 3-2, St Helens.
3 minutes to go, Eddie. Warrington looking to start this game again. Go for the long kick-off. The Warrington players aren't there yet. They're still trying to make their way up the field.
Long bursting stuff, isn't it? 3 minutes to half-time. Saints just ahead, 3-2. Got all the makings of a massive second half. A pulsating night at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Meeting Warrington, St Helens are tonight for the 5th time in playoffs football. And when you see this scoreline, it's easy to remember it's 2 wins apiece at this level for these 2 sides. Teo will play the ball here to Lomax. Lomax, a stuttering run, almost to halfway. Oh, they get the penalty here to St Helens.
Yeah, George King just getting caught on the wrong side of the ruck. Again, it's the speed of which Johnny Lomax is playing that ball, and George King can't position himself to the side of the tackle or in front. It comes off his foot, and again, it's a bit more pressure here. They've got 2 minutes to ride this period out, Warrington.
Well, when they were here earlier this season, Richardson had a shot at goal from a penalty even further out than that, but it was in the last seconds of the game, so hence the reason why the Saints are just going to try and turn the screw here and get a little bit more of a reward up to half-time. Douglas goes down, will play the ball here to Roby. This now is Danny Richardson. He then gives it to Morgan Knowles. Knowles, down he goes, tackle number 3. They get through this set and Warrington will have another dig at them. Richardson, wide to Barber. Further wide it goes to Regan Grace. Here is Mark Percival. Percival fancies his chances. Not now, he doesn't. Roby's waiting again. Douglas once more. Inside the 10, inside the 5 now.
Goal line, Stefan.
Last one. Roby tries to slide the kick through. Picked up though by the Warrington defender. And they'll try and work the ball away with Charnley.
Again, good defence from Warrington, knowing that there's just a minute to go. Warrington, was Roby going to just try and dab it through behind the line? Were they going to try and shift it over to the left edge? Steve Price, and Justin Holbrook, positive things to say to both sets of players at half-time.
Well, a trialist first half so far. 30 seconds for Warrington to try and change that. Roby with a great tackle on George King. Last one. Roberts with a high kick. This will sail out. No, it won't. It's come back. And could be, if it's out now, is this a 40-20 to finish?
It is. It ends up just trickling over the sideline. Everyone stops.
Well, now they can get on with it because the referee's in position. This is King's ball back inside to Charnley, and Charnley puts it down. What a chance for Warrington. Maybe just a little bit too hurried. There. Just the flick off the fingertips. St Helens survive. Charnley, who's been sensational on his return to rugby league. He got 10 tries in 13 playoff games for Wigan in 5 years. And since he's come back to rugby league, 24 tries in 26 for Warrington now. And that was as close as he would have got tonight so far. Well, 3-2, no tries, but 5 points. Roberts penalty for Warrington. Richardson penalty for Saints, and a drop goal for Richardson at half-time here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. It's 3-2 to the Saints. This is the 130th Super League playoff tie that we have seen, and we have just witnessed the first ever trialist first half. You get the feeling, though, there will be tries in the second 40. Big Warrington fan, Stuart Pearce, with the club colours round his neck, hoping that it will be Warrington's years. Well, it's a football scoreline for Stuart Pearce. 3-2, the Saints lead as they get the second half underway. Oh, and Ratchford went without the ball. And Tommy Lineham couldn't get to it. Well, just a little shrug of the shoulders, a raise of the eyebrows from Stephen Ratchford.
Brian Carney was critical, I agree, of Danny Richardson for not running the ball, but I tell you what, the importance of his kicks cannot be underestimated this season for the Saints. Every one of his restarts have been problematic for their opponents to take in, and even the experience of Ratchford and co couldn't handle that one, though. It's a perfect start here to give them possession and a chance to attack the home supporters.
St Helens have had 22 playoff ties on home soil down the years. They've won 18 of them. Warrington have won only 9 of 21 matches themselves at this level, only 2 away from home. This is Makinson from the goal line dropout. Roby waiting. Here comes Luke Douglas, head bandaged up from damage in the first 40. Roby. McCarthy Scarsbrook picks up pace and tries to go between a couple. Plays the ball quickly to Roby. This is Ashworth. Jack Ashworth. He's played in each of the last 6 matches. Pitched into this white-hot atmosphere of a semi-final. Roby to Lomax, to Barber. Barber to Percival. Percival is spun to the ground by Tony King. Helped out by brother George. This now Richardson again. Slides the kick in, looking for Ashworth. Oh, it's bouncing around all over the shop. It's a try for Luke Douglas. Well, obviously, Robert Hicks is going to take a look through the eyes of James Child at this one once again. He sent it up as a try on the field. There looked nothing wrong with it. It was Warrington who couldn't take the kick in. It was bobbling and bouncing everywhere. Luke Douglas got to it first. What say you, Stuart Cummings?
Well, a look at the onside first. That was Robert Hicks' first query. All the chasers are onside, so we can move on to his second query, which was there a knock-on by St Helens in this? The ball was certainly moving around. It's gone back off Stephen Ratchford at that point. So we'll see again.
Nothing wrong with the grab here by Ashworth.
Well, I think he's going to the man. I don't think he's prevented Stephen Ratchford going for the ball. That ball's taken back, He will have a question to clear that Stephen Ratchford isn't interfered with. Is that a knock on there? Does it miss the hand? Looks like it misses Ashworth's hand on that shot. There's no evidence that there's a knock on there. Seems to miss it completely. Can't see any change in rotation of the ball. That just keeps going straight down. So I think we're okay to play on from there. And then it just needs to be grounded cleanly. And it is. Just to be confirmed.
It looks like Luke Douglas has scored the first try of this semi-final. Will it be red? Will it be green? I think we know it's going to come up green. A green light for go for St Helens. They increase their advantage to 5 points. 7-2 of the Saints. Perfect start to the second half.
Well, a poor start from Warrington, though, wasn't it? Stephen Ratchford couldn't deal with the kick-off from Danny Richardson, and also they couldn't deal with this short little kick as well. Look at this. Goes absolutely everywhere. Just pulls out of it for the last second. They're under pressure. They're trying to defend the line. Danny Richardson at the line, pulling up the defenders, and Ashworth just doing enough to put the likes of Stephen Ratchford and Kevin Brown off. And Kevin Brown just trying to bat the ball out of play. Couldn't do so, though.
Danny Richardson adds the extras. St Helens 9, Warrington 2.
Well, what a good set of 6. With ball in hand it was from Warrington, straight from that dropout. Big charges from LMS, Jack Ashworth, but ultimately Luke Douglas, right man, right time, and it's the right try for those Saints fans.
So they edge a little closer.
Just a question on that then, is Stephen Ratchford not tackled without the ball? Some Warrington supporters would want to understand the ruling on that.
Well, I suppose technically you could look at it that way, but I think it's a case of him assuming that he's going to have the ball, and it's not really affected him from getting the ball back again, so they've let it go.
9-2, the Saints are ahead. Their 47th playoff game tonight. 28 wins, 18 defeats. They haven't won the playoff football since beating Wigan in the 2014 Grand Final. Long time between drinks. Bill Arthur with the half-time news now.
Eddie, Steve Price, Warrington coach, be so disappointed with that catalogue of errors at the start of the second half, which has led to Saints breaking the deadlock. There he is. And he was so happy, so pleased with the way his side performed in the first 40 minutes when he came out after the break. Really gutsy performance from his side, lots of commitment, lots of determination. He wanted more of the same in the second half, knowing that this is going to go right down to the wire, so to speak. And exactly the same sentiment from Justin Holbrook in the Saints camp. Really impressed with his side, really enjoying what is a fantastically ferocious contest, and knowing it's who blinks first in this one.
Well, Warrington have blinked first in the second half. They've conceded the try in the opening 4 minutes. They do tend to fare better in meetings with St Helens away from home than they have done at home. OK, they've lost on the last 2 visits to the Totally Wicked Stadium, but they've won 6 of the last 9 since the move here in 2012. Last win here, 2016.
You can't panic though, Warrington. Yeah, behind on the scoreboard, still in the game. Obviously, you've got to try and exploit that space, but still played direct. They had a lot of success in the first half with the forwards running strongly, not been taken to ground exactly like Mike Cooper's doing on that occasion.
Here comes Jack Hughes. Oh, now then, it's opened up for Jack Hughes suddenly. Ben Barber, I think Hughes might get this down. I think Hughes might have got this down. Barber thinks he's done enough. It's another decision on the way for James Charnley, the video referee. And what a response it will be from Warrington if they get this. It's gone up as a try.
I think a try as well, Eddie.
What on earth happened to the St Helens defence in the build-up to this, I don't know. But let's have a look, first of all, Stuart, at the grounding.
Well, it's the grounding they want to see. Does he actually put the ball down in the in-goal area before he gets over the sideline? And we can see there that he is clearly down, and his arm isn't on the line. This is confirmed try.
Eddie, I'll tell you what happened in the build-up to this. Stephen Ratchford was on the inside, which just sat back a Saints defender. Jack Hughes dummied it, saw the space, went for it himself.
And I think it's going to get the green light. Warrington have hit back. within seconds of conceding the first try in this second half. We thought up here it might open up in the second half. We thought we might see a try or two. Well, we've seen 2 tries in the first 5 minutes.
Well, they've had to hold the nerve, haven't they, Warrington? They made that mistake. Disastrous start to the second half, but they had to be mentally strong. There's the inside play from Stefan Ratchford. That drew 2 defenders, which meant Jack Hughes had a one-on-one with Lomas. Johnny Lomax, should I say, and what a finish from the back row. Wonderful. And look at the celebration from Steve Price. He lives every second. Justin Holbrook and Steve Price are in it with the players.
Steve Price doing a Jurgen Klopp on the sidelines.
It's quality to see, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's great when they wear their hearts on the sleeves.
They show the passion, they live the players, they live the wins, they live the losses.
Now then, Tyrone Roberts. This to get Warrington back within a point. Difficult conversion attempt this is. And he's pulled it in front of the posts. 9-6, Saints.
I think the Wolves will take a lot of confidence, not just from this try, but from the 10-minute attacking play before half-time. They've started to open up. I think they're attacking play, lots of players moving around the ball, asking more questions of St Helens in defence. Paul Wellens there, sending on a message from the coaching staff. We've got to up the level here now. Look at a brilliant last 30 minutes for the season for one of these teams here, and they can leave nothing in the tank.
No, it's all or nothing this Thursday night as Chris Hill drives it forward. They will have been deflated conceding the first try of the second half, Warrington, but this will have pumped them up now.
Well, it's a bit of honesty, Eddie, about plays in motion around the man who's carrying the ball. This man, Jack Hughes, will show him what he can do. Come up with some good footwork as well to beat Mark Percival to score the try.
Pressure's on the Saints because only 4 times as the team that finished top of the table failed to make the grand final in 22 previous seasons in the Super League. So the pressure right on Regan Grace and St Helens to get there this year.
And Tyrone Roberts just taking his time, making sure that, yeah, there was the defensive line coming up at him, but he wanted to make sure he got that kick right where he wanted to place it.
Roby to Percival.
Penalty here, Eddie. Struck the ball from Percival.
You simply very rarely see this penalty in the NRL. Ball's being stripped on the ground.
Well, you're trying to take him to ground, and Bodine Thompson, the man who has played in the NRL.
Next line, Bodine.
He's the man who's deemed by the referee to give that penalty away for the strip.
So here comes Saints with a set of 6 from inside Warrington territory. That could be a penalty. Bodine Thompson went for a little piggyback over the top of Knowles. Douglas, the try scorer for Saints, 20 metres out. 2 tackles gone. McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Richardson. Zeb Taylor now. Down he goes, tackle number 3, 5 metres away. Roby scanning left and right, comes to the right-hand side in centre field. Here's McCarthy, Scarsbrook again. Good leg drive from him underneath the Warrington posts. Roby fires the pass to Richardson. Richardson then finds Barber. Ben Barber almost through. Good defence for Bryson Goodwin. Knowles again. Oh, over the head of Richardson finds Douglas. Now Lomax will take control. Little dab over the top. Was he taken out? I think he was. I think he was. It's a penalty to Saints under the sticks.
Well, Jack Hughes, the try scorer for Warrington, look, stands his ground, then all of a sudden he walks or steps into him.
And puts the arm out.
Yeah, well, he knows how dangerous that kick could have been. Stefan Ratchford was at the back, though. No real need to give that penalty away.
Interesting here, they've elected to go for the 2. I know it's a tight game. It's 9-6, an extra 2 points.
Lead. They put a lot of energy into that first half. Lung busting, lots of defence.
Only started the second half 9 minutes ago, Baz.
A very tight, tense affair.
I think half a try, Eddie. I think you're going to see more of this. And do you remember last year at the playoff game?
Yeah.
They outscored Casford 5 tries to 3, but the goal kick in and the fact that their opponents took more penalty goals meant that eventually the Tigers were the team who went through to the grand final. And what you're going to turn down points as easy as this.
What you'll take, Eddie, as well, is that you'll take a 5-point lead because you'll be confident that the team can't come through to score the tries. They've got to score out wide on the edges like Warrington did through Jack Hughes. Then that kick, that conversion is so important to try and nail from the sideline.
Well, Richardson here. This is his playoff debut as well. Before tonight, 122 goals from 164 attempts. There's another one to the total. It is 11-6, 10 minutes of the second half gone, 5 points the lead. They seem relatively happy with the decision anyway.
He doesn't make any mistakes, does he, Danny Richardson? Luke Thompson now back on the field to lead the charge for Saints. Spent some time on the bench, he'll be refreshed. Looks like they're lining up to kick the ball to him over on Saints' left.
I do. Stay on.
So Stefan Ratchford to restart. His team trailing by 5. Plenty of time though.
Time back on.
Plenty of time still to go on the clock. Johnny Lomax underneath the kick. Here he comes again, Luke Thompson, the human battering ram in the red V.
He's got a good running style. It's very difficult to get a shot on. Luke Thompson, players that you talk to in Super League says that he's really difficult, along with the likes of Matty Lees. They run hard, they're aggressive, they have the bumpers up.
McCarthy Scarsbrook pokes his nose through, but Westwood saw to it he wasn't going any further. Struggles to his feet, plays the ball to Roby. Had Thompson on his shoulder, Roby. He elected to take the tackle himself.
Both sides making meters and finding it easy to make meters. The middles both cancelling each other out. You see, turning it back inside. Middle men, big men, when they're carrying the ball, they're being met by physical big men as well. And the 6s and 7s on fullbacks could well be the difference. Stefan Ratchford at the fullback, the decision maker. That's terrific defence.
Yes, it is.
What about the kick? What about the kick? I mean, he hasn't made many passes, Danny Richardson, but he's kicked off to start the second half. That's helped to set up the position for his dangerous kick to actually create the last try. Here, look, he puts it exactly where he needs it, just a couple of metres in from touch, and the discipline and control there from Saints for the defence gives them another chance now to attack.
It's the attacking kicks that he puts up makes him so dangerous. Obviously close to the line, his goal kicking is top of the tree as well, but Stefan Ratchford, well, it's been a tough 11 minutes for him, isn't it, in the start of the second half. We were talking about how well he played in the first half. He was key to everything. Yeah, he's been brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, Stefan Ratchford. So valuable to this Warrington side.
We need one more in here.
It's his 13th playoff for the Warrington Wolves. He's lost 3 grand finals.
Front row, get in, Stefan. Ball now.
And it's his 200th start for Warrington tonight. Lomax gets the ball away, Knowles! Vital tackle that by Bodine Thompson. Lomax. Here comes Douglas again, looking for a second. Surrounded by Primrose and Blue. Down he goes, on his back. Hill and Westwood, well, they took their time getting off him. Roby again, back he comes to Richardson. Here is Lomax. Lomax with a short pass, Zebtair trying to break the door down. Lomax again going for the line himself, Johnny Lomax. Sheer weight of numbers beats him, and he's pushed back this side of the whitewash. Roby finds Richardson. Now it's McCarthy Scarsbrook. Down he goes on tackle number 5. Last one coming up, the 5 metres away, the Saints. This is out. Thompson finds Richardson. Richardson then to Barber. Barber slides a kick through, chasing it himself. And Tommy Lineham grounds the ball in his own in-goal area. It's a goal line dropout.
So clinical, Saints. You look at James Roby's work from dummy half. Every time he passes that ball, it could be 20 metres, could be 30 metres. It's on the button. And Morgan Knowles, well, he thought he was through the line, and Bodine Thompson did well to just grab the feet. And, well, Saints fans know that it seems all to be about them in this second half. Whatever Justin Holbrook said at half-time has certainly worked, hasn't it?
They're aiming for a record 11th grand final, the Saints Warrington. Well, they've been there recently. They've never actually won the big prize. 55 years since they were last crowned as champions. Steve Price looking for the Holy Grail. 63 years since they were crowned as league champions, in 1955 when they last won the title. McCarthy Scarsbrook. Well, the referee said 3. McCarthy Scarsbrook thought that the tackle wasn't completed.
Good carry from McCarthy Scarsbrook as well. Scattered a couple of players.
Here's Richardson. Lomax. Percival. Roberts doing a good job. Richardson again slides the kick towards those posts. That'll be too strong.
Well,
they need to restart. 7 tackle restart.
They needed that then. Throughout this game, Warrington's defensive line has been working together. On that occasion, there was some going up, there was some sitting back. It was a bit of a fractured defensive line. Chris Hill now leaves the field. And then Murdoch-Masila, he comes on the field to try and lift aside, give his powerful charges.
Move, hold, go on.
Ratchford dummy half. Here's Lineham again. He's a vital player for them, is Chris Hill.
Move, get square, hold.
And Murdoch-Masila with big responsibility on his shoulders now. He's running wide here, waiting for the pass that didn't come from Westwood.
Move,
Hill
hold.
to the bench, pat on the shoulder from Lee Breers. Jack Hughes.
4, move.
Now here's Ben Murdoch-Masila. And now again, gets the ball away. Lucky to get away with that. It bounced forward, I think. It came out the back door, so that's why the referee says this is tackle 5. Roberts with a high kick cross field. Makinson collects it safely, and then Goodwin collects him.
Good work from Tommy Makinson's teammates there. There wasn't a high tackle from Kevin Brown. A grab round the shoulder. Wasn't a swinging arm.
This match isn't won yet, not by any stretch of the imagination.
No, they know that as well, Eddie, don't need a set side. See them all flooding forward. There's a moving dummy half. You're pushing up. Steve Price knows that they need that field position. They need that possession.
Last one here. It's good defensive set, this from Warrington. They've restricted St Helens to within 10 metres of the halfway line, and the kick comes in from Richardson. Has Lineham backpedaling, though. Plenty of space ahead of Lineham to pick up pace. Here he comes.
They've done a decent job on the Warrington forwards. Mike Cooper's just put his hand up to the bench. He either needs to come off, there's a problem with him, or he's just tired. Took an awful lot of energy out the big fellas.
This will do Warrington nicely.
Joe Fielding coming onto the field. How many times, how many occasions have we watched Warrington Wolves play Joe Fielding come onto the field, and he lifts his team. Seems to be about big charges, big carries, and the moments where Richardson, Roberts, Brown, Lomax, Barber, Ratchford should step up. When those chances are there, it's who takes them.
So great opportunity here for Warrington as Philbin carts it up on the first tackle. Just on the field for Mike Cooper. McCarthy Scarsbrook has left the action now. He too has been replaced. This is Brown. Oh, this is ambitious. Brown looking for Roberts. Oh, the ball comes free. Lomax picks it up. Can't get away, though, from that in-goal area. Goal line drop down coming up. Invention there.
You like it on the second play. Look at this.
Here.
Kevin Brown at the line. Tyrone Roberts going for it.
And that's what I was talking about. 6, 7 and 1. All looking to create opportunities and taking them as well. Touches that back line, Johnny Lomax.
I think that's the key, isn't it? That Warrington are struggling. He thinks there's a chance to see Price, but he knows, well, goal line drop out, they'll get another opportunity. And Johnny Lomax seems to have suffered a serious injury here to his left leg. But tries from kicks have been big for Warrington this year, showing how hard it is to break through St Helens' defence. Creative kick, an unusual one. Somehow we'll see here with a tackle with Jack Hughes, a twist perhaps of the left knee. Shame for Lomax if he has to come off at this stage.
Oh, and immediately look
straight away, yeah.
He's played in 27 of the 30 games from this year, and he's been very important. His support play when St Helens have made breaks is probably one of the reasons why they've topped the table this year. Oh, is it a finger? Or broken the arm?
Hand, wrist,
Dislocated
forearm.
finger,
Something on the hand, obviously, but
Yeah,
we all thought it was the
he's
knee.
got a cut on his hand. Simon Perrott, the doctor, just taking his time, just making sure that he's okay. Well,
I think he was stood on by a boot or something. What on earth was that?
he's a tough old player, Johnny Lomax. He's had some serious injuries when he's a youngster. He's had to...
Is it a dislocated finger? Is he having it put back?
Hard to see on that one. If it is a dislocated finger, I saw the blood like Tez saw it. It could be a compound dislocation where the bone comes out of the skin. You can see he's in severe distress.
Thanks a lot, Barry.
Straight away when Ben Barber and everyone goes around and then they start waving at the sideline saying you're going to have to come off. He's in good hands there with the doctor.
Oh, he's in a lot of stress, isn't he?
Yeah.
A lot of distress.
Well, Simon Perrott, who's the same story, he's just making sure, first of all, the player's okay. Yeah, I know that the fans want the game to continue, but the main priority is making sure that Johnny Lomax is okay.
Well, he's indicating he's finished, he's done, he's bouncing, isn't he?
I don't know whether that's a pain, that's a reaction to some pain.
Well, I tell you what,
and that's pain
tell you what,
that's painkillers.
if he carries on,
he's going to carry on. He doesn't want to leave the field, Eddie. His adrenaline, everything that's going through his body, all the hard work over the season to get within what? Another 23 minutes, to the grand final. You don't want to lose one of your best players.
Has his finger gone in Tyrone Roberts' mouth? I think that's how they... It's going to be the only reason to explain how his fingers got injured in that collision.
Well, I tell you what, he's staying on the field, and it's a lesson to sportsmen in other codes. It really is. They're tough in the Super League, there's no question of that. They are tough as teeth.
Really tough or stupid?
Well,
incredible, isn't it?
In certain company, I would agree with the latter, but I'll say that he's incredibly tough. Clark down the left-hand side to Brown. Wide they go to Goodwin. Here is Lineham! Lineham scores! Lineham scores in the corner for Warrington. Things to check for Robert Hicks. Try on the field, though. They're checking on the grounding, they're checking on the slide that he doesn't touch the whitewash. They think he scored, Stuart.
Well, they've given it on the field. Robert Hicks just wants to check that there's no double movement here. He's concerned he'll have seen a double movement from Lineham. I think the question's going to be whether he was tackled or not, which he wasn't. So that's fine. Barber was in contact with him, but he wasn't held, so he could go and carry on to the line.
Goes low very early there, Tom Lineham. He's done that numerous times in his career. He catches a knee, actually, from Ben Barber, purely accidental, but bravery, both sides of the ball. For the defender, he needs to get his body in front. For the attacker, he knows he's going to collect one as he gets that ball down.
It's good technique, this, isn't it? Going low very early, knowing that Barber's coming across. Warrington wingers, both of the wingers score lots of tries.
Well, he's back from a two-match ban, and he has just put Warrington back within a point of St Helens in this Betfred Super League semi-final. This is going to go green. Lineham gets the try. Warrington back within a point. Kick to come, which would give them the lead.
They're not playing in the shell, Warrington. It all started with Kevin Brown and his chip over the top for Tyrone Roberts, and the competitive spirit from the scrum half to keep going, even though he's shoulder charged out of the way by Ben Barber. He still manages to make that tackle on Johnny Lomax. Beautiful hands, good finish in the corner, and Warrington showing a lot of character, a lot of spirit.
Well, he was criticised in the Challenge Cup finals for diving too early, but he's absolutely got that one spot on the timing.
Now then, another difficult conversion, this time from the other side of the field. The right-footed kicker, it's a little easier, it's a little easier. It's much easier. Warrington have the lead. 12-11, 58, 59 minutes gone. What a massive 21 minutes we've got now.
Well, it's a good play, isn't it? Good ball from Bryson Goodwin, good dive, and what about that kick? That was a pressure kick.
Tell me if we're ready. On the line, please, Dan.
He's loving every minute of this. Well, he's living every minute of it.
They've got in front, and there's just over 20 minutes to go now. Can they defend that lead?
Let's get some injury news. There's been plenty of it. Johnny Lomax, Bill, what's the story?
It was a dislocated finger in the end, Eddie. After all that treatment, the finger placed back, although he's obviously strapped up and it's obviously still painful for Johnny Lomax, but he's determined to continue.
Gritty from Lomax. And St Helens will have to grit their teeth here now because Warrington have got the bit between theirs.
No, one quick charge and one run from that Ben Murdoch-Masila, then all of a sudden that man's off, isn't he, Clark?
Hughes with the latest drive, good leg drive from him as well, but it's the last tackle coming up. And Roberts is the man with the ball, looking here for King, finding King, couldn't get it away though to Josh Charnley.
We're still looking to compete for the ball. Toby King then, as soon as he catches it, trying to get it to Charnley, unfortunately can't get it to him.
Well, that part of Regan Grace's game is excellent. When he's coming away, he's fighting for a quick play of the ball. He's as good as anybody in the league, but he needs to be more commanding, more dominant, more confident when those high kicks and those pressure kicks are coming his way.
Into the last quarter of the match. Nothing between the two sides except 1 point for Warrington. Luke Thompson.
Move, Joel, get square. Go.
Roby gets it away to Wilkie. He then finds Lomax. This is Barber. Percival. So Warrington know the danger that Mark Percival poses. Plays the ball to Barber. Zebtea. Short ball. Wilkin, great pass off the deck to Ben Barber. He's got Lomax with him. Lomax has dropped it.
No, he was there, he was trying everything. Probably the finger still not making excuses, but let's be honest, he's a brave lad. Look, the good offload, pushing up in support, looking to give the ball to Johnny Lomax and just couldn't take it in. Whether that's an after effect from the injury.
What about the defensive recovery though from Warrington? What we've seen and complimented some brilliant tries from St Helens this season, but Warrington's effort there when the line was broken to recover and get back to stop Lomax scoring has kept them ahead.
It's the Warrington supporters who are singing right now. They believe that after all the pain and all the suffering, this is their year. This is Masila. Steps out of one challenge from Lomax. He's struggling with the hand, is Johnny Lomax.
You try and give him early ball as much as you can. Let him pick his target where he's going to run.
Clark into centre field to Westwood. Time running out, you think, for Ben Westwood to get hold of a grand final winner's ring at 37. Here's Masila. Plays the ball back.
There was a call for being tackled before that pass was made, before that catch was made. It was a good set-up play, expecting the kick. St Helens and Zebtea, and I think it's Stefan Ratchford. There's Ben Murdoch-Masila. He catches the ball, feeds it inside, and tries to find Stefan Ratchford.
He preempted that play. The ball was outside, not inside. It was a 2-on-1 with the Saints winger, Johnny Lomax. Look, you can see the hit there from Percival.
Well, he thinks he was tackled without the ball.
I don't think there's too much wrong with Murdoch-Masila. His eyes are looking at where the ball is going. He's caught unaware. It's a full-blooded challenge from Percival. The arms up in the air from Steve Price is perhaps what I thought I saw, which is a tackle without the ball on Stefan Ratchford.
I agree. If the referee and touch judges don't think it's a penalty on the game live, keep it live.
Well, we've probably got Hicks has had a word with them. Yeah, I think we've probably got some contact with the head on Masila. But again, players continued, so the referee isn't going to take any action against that, and it's probably not worth a send-off. So we should continue with the play of the ball, St Helens ball.
There we go. There's nothing in that for me, but anyway, on with the game.
Play the ball here, Zero. Play it. Yes.
What St Helens need to find is a way of going forward though. Now at the moment they can't make the ground that they've made so often this season, that's set up so many of their attacking players in the tries. Warrington's defence has been brutal in the middle.
I think Johnny Lomax has taken full advantage of that stoppage in play to have yet more treatment more strapping on that injured finger. Wilkin gets the ball away to Morgan Knowles.
With John Wilkin on the field, he's got that passing game. He'll move it away from the ruck as he's done then. He's found Matty Lees away from the teeth and the middle, the markers. Hopefully more meters, generate more momentum.
Oh, he might lose this ball here. How on earth did he hang on to that? Well, it was a strip. I thought he held on to it.
I agree, Eddie. When he goes into that tackle, Luke Thompson, whether he's been just hit well and hit under the ball and he can't bring the ball back in, is he trying to offload it? Darrell Clark's all around him.
Saints won't be complaining. They're coming forward again with Zeb Taylor. Warrington with the narrowest of leads. Here comes Thompson. Remember, St Helens last year involved in the Golden Point thriller in the semi-final of Castleford, losing to a Luke Gale penalty followed by a Luke Gale drop goal. Drama all the way as we get down to within 80 minutes of Old Trafford, and here is Matty Lees. Oh, and they're so close again to the Warrington line, and Roby is scheming one way and then the other. Gives it to Lomax. Lomax then to Barber. Barber trying to stab the ball through. Very well swept up by Toby King.
A couple of big players in defence from Warrington then. The first one was Kevin Brown, then it was Jack Hughes. Had to be good. If you jump the line, you've got to make sure you get the tackle. Good pick-up as well from Toby King.
Toby King preferred tonight to Ryan Atkins, who's a big match player for Warrington.
And he's got a big job, hasn't he, up against Mark Percival.
And he's let nobody down so far.
Been really good.
Here comes Goodwin again for the Wolves.
We've had 33 of the 34 players on the field so far, Eddie. About 15 minutes to go. Warrington maybe have an ace up the sleeve as well. Dekpan sat on the bench, waiting patiently here for perhaps his chance in the last 10.
Well, he might just have the key to open up the Saints. Roberts here with a flat kick right down the centre of the field. Barber's content to let that run and let it run further, and it goes dead in goal. 20-metre restart, 7 tackles on the way for Saints.
I know it rolls over the back line, but his kicking game has been a lot better. 6 and 7, getting involved, taking control, taking charge, and that's where Regan Grace is at his best, avoiding defenders. A couple of good carries and some good work from the back line.
Roby gets it away to Wilkin again. John Wilkin, is this his last match in St Helens colours after 16 years at this club? Roby gets away from dummy half again, doing the job that he does week in, week out, year in, year out. Barber. Here is Thompson. Good defence from Warrington so far. That's 4 gone. Here comes Wilkin again. Back it comes to Lomax. He finds Barber. Barber to Percival. King again. Toby King sticking to him like glue. Zeb Taylor, the dummy half, into centre field to Richardson. Richardson floats the kick out to the right-hand side. Knocked back. Oh, knocked back. Penalty. Was it knocked forward?
No, it's a late tackle on the kicker.
On Danny Richardson, I think it's Joe Philbin.
Joe Philbin late. I know.
How many seconds it is, but Joe Philbin gets there. He knows what's coming. Danny Richardson, he braces himself. You can hear the footsteps, smell the breath of Joe Philbin, who decides, I'm going to take him to the floor.
Big decision here now. Will it kick a goal?
Smells the breath. I didn't say it was bad breath, I just said he could smell it.
You've got to get that right, though, haven't you, Joe Philbin?
Big kick here now. Does he kick at goal? He's elected to. Do you know what, Eddie? He's twice as good on the left touchline than he is to the right this season. I don't know whether he knows that.
It's too late there, mate.
Kevin Brown is not convinced this should have been a penalty.
But there's one thing you'd have to say about
the most important person who is convinced is the ref.
Well, he is, but he's tackled him after he's kicked the ball. He had plenty of time to pull out of that tackle. So really, even though the contact was fairly soft, you know, he could have pulled out.
Yeah, when he gets there, he can't just think, right, well, because I've got there and I've made an effort together, I'm going to take him to ground. You've got to pull back. You've got to pull back.
The ball was well gone. Now then, this kick to ease St Helens ahead by a point, and as you see from the clock in the left-hand corner of your screen, Time is ticking away.
He struggled, Eddie, though. He struggled from the right touchline. He doesn't struggle from pressure, though. We saw that the last time they played Warrington here. Perhaps he rises when the pressure's on him. One of those sports people who needs to be under pressure to find the very best.
Well, he's waded up. It's a dreadful angle. It's on its way. He's missed it, but he's got the ball dead. They'll get the ball back with St Helens.
You could tell from the reaction of the Saints fans behind the sticks, nobody went up in the air. He's been the best goal kicker in Super League this year, hasn't he?
He's the only player to kick goals for St Helens this season. Every other team has used a number of players, a multitude of players. He's taken every single goal kick, and that's unique about the Saints and the Super League this season.
And he's the first one, the only one, to top 100 successful goals in the season so far. Well, you'll be asked to make your vote shortly on the hourly gap for the man of the match here tonight.
Move, Joe! Hold!
A rugby league legend watching with us, and, well, who on earth he's going to pick.
Good luck with that.
There are a lot of candidates tonight. I don't think we'll argue with any of them this evening. He might emerge in the next 12 minutes or so.
I was just going to say, Eddie, this game's still to be won by one of these brilliant players.
Roby with the run, halted by Hughes. Will Richardson elect to go for another drop goal if they get within Cooey? Because 1 point advantage. And here they come again. Good run once more from Matty Lees. Impressive. Last tackle. Richardson's back in the pocket. No, they're coming this way. Now it's from Lomax to Richardson. Here's the drop goal attempt. They've kicked it. The crowd will tell you that. Robert Hicks will confirm it. The scores are level. The scores are level. And we've got less than 12 to go.
What fantastic reactions from St Helens. The ball goes to the wrong side. Lomax fires it back inside. And it's perfect hands from Danny Richardson. Catches the ball above his head. Just drifts it down towards his foot. And that's a wonderful executed drop goal.
Danny Richardson's 6th drop goal of the season. 5 in the Super League. 1 in the Challenge Cup.
Is that what you picked me up on before, Eddie? Do you know?
Looking at Steve Price, though, there aren't many jobs where a whole year's effort comes down to the last 10 minutes of a match in a situation like this. You measure and everybody remembers on everything that happens in a full year. You work hard for almost 360 days. It's a situation they've almost been at this a year here now. The kick's gone too far. Big mistake from Rashford.
Penalty on halfway. It was 12-all at this stage. Last time we were here between these two. And Richardson kicked a penalty goal off the halfway line in the last seconds of the match. Will he have a shot at goal here now from 50 metres out, right on the centre spot? He's calling for the kicking tee, I think.
You're right, Eddie, you're right. He's confident. I don't think the sideline are too sure about what he wants. But what a mistake. Stephen Ratchford.
Well, he has been
the pick of their players season.
All season, he has.
He's had a stellar season, but he's had a couple of involvements tonight that if he played 100 games, he wouldn't make 2 or 3 of them. They're going to tap, they're going to have a go.
Well, they're going to have a go. Well, if that's the case, why wouldn't you dump the ball into touch 20 metres further forward, please? It might come off. Maybe they tried to catch the defence napping. Maybe they're looking for another one-pointer.
Well, considering there's just over 10 minutes to go, the hits haven't softened, have they?
They have not.
Where's Ben Barber?
Relatively fresh legs from Peru. Now then, they are within striking distance of another one-pointer here, but no, they're running it with Wilkin.
Ben Barber was screaming for that ball.
Wilkin goes down 3 metres short of the line. Richardson's back there again. Another one-pointer off the bar and over. Oh! Well, when things go for you, they go for you. 13-12. It's a drop goal, I thought.
How composed is he? He knows that he wants the ball. He's going to be under pressure. Jack Hughes trying everything to get at him. So is Bodine Thompson. But he's still got to focus on where the sticks are and get the ball between them. And Justin Holbrook knows, even though he's a young lad, he knows what he's got going for him. He's played every game this year as the 7. Been one of the dominant players in Super League.
Well, how good are his skills? The last one, the ball was above his head. That one, the ball was down below his knees, and he still has enough to collect it and executes it perfectly.
Not quite as much oomph behind that from Stefan Ratchford.
Now you want to make sure that you get that one right, don't you? Again, another strong challenge from the back line from Luke Thompson.
13-12, 9.5 minutes to go. There are your nominations for man of the match. Hill and Cooper of Warrington, Roby and Thompson of the Saints. And here, they're pointing accusing fingers at Ben Westwood.
Well, that's a young bull and an old bull. Matty Lees has not took a backward step all evening, and when he's had a break, Jack Ashworth has come on, and Ben Westwood, who's been looking into the eyes of Matty Lees all evening, because every time he's carried, there's a little nudge there. Disappointed with himself to give the penalty away. He's trying to get round to marker, and they're thrashing around from Matty Lees. He doesn't like it.
Well, he's the oldest head out there, and Westwood. There's so many disappointments in grand finals, and he knows he's got 9 minutes to rescue this match and get back there in 2018.
He knows the time's running out to win one, Eddie, and he's been a Trojan, hasn't he? He's played long minutes. He's always puts his body on the line, whether he's carrying the ball, whether he's defending. Well, he's involved in that tackle as well.
Well, he played in the 2010 playoff defeat here at St Helens. In fact, it was at Knowsley Road.
I think when you look at the players who are up for man of the match, that just goes to show how the game has been. Was it 3 props and a hooker?
It's been
up for the challenge. It's been well and truly physical. A lot of questions being asked in that middle part of the field.
Here goes Roby again with one of those trademark runs. He finds Lomax. Lomax can't get away from his opposite number, Ratchford. Whose nerve is going to hold here tonight? Warrington have got to get up the other end to have a chance. Saints down here once more. Tackle number 5. No interest in a drop goal this time. It's with Lomax running it. Barber on the inside. Ben Barber bounces off Westbrook. Dabs the ball towards the try line. Picked up by Bryson Goodwin. Well, Saints concede a penalty.
Yeah, for the flop, Eddie. It gets a favourable bounce, doesn't it? When Barber kicks that ball through, it just swerves across and it goes to where Goodwin is. If it's more towards the try line, he could have had another set of 6 because of Saints pushing up really strongly. If Goodwin gets that ball just half a metre from his line, I'm sure he would have been pushed into the in-goal.
Well, no member of the Warrington squad were named in the dream team this week. 7 were named from St Helens. Declan Patton has been one of the spectators here tonight. Is he going to come on and play a pivotal role in the last 7 minutes?
Eddie, and that'll be a motivation for the players, that none of the players got a look in. It was all about Saints and the year that they've had.
I bet Patton is itching. He's itching.
Do you go for a drop goal? That's the question, isn't it?
Here's Toby King. They won't go for a drop goal out here. They want to try and work it back.
Back to the middle. Warrington going back to the middle, you can almost read their minds. They're having a shot, they're looking for the try.
They're looking for the try, why wouldn't they? Goes wide to Lineham. Lineham through 1, Lineham through 2. Lineham gets the try! Lineham gets his 2nd try. It's not given yet. It's not given yet. It's another decision for James Child, I think, on the way.
What do you want me to check for?
Lineham's convinced he scored. So is the touch judge, so is the referee, and Warrington edge ahead again. Tom Lineham, back from 2 out suspended, has come back and scored 2 tries, and it could be the night for Warrington. It could be the night that Warrington get back to Old Trafford.
Well, Eddie, you've got to back yourself. Do they set up for the 1 point, or do they have a crack at going at Saints? Well, they had a crack, and what about that for the ball? First of all, Stefan Ratchford, then Bryson Goodwin. Well, then what about that? The footwork from Lineham to get across, to near the line, get over the line, get rid of Danny Richardson. He can't control him. Ben Barber can't control him. Peru can't stop him. And Matty Lees comes in to try and help. And that's what it means to Steve Price. Well, we're in for a big last final 5 minutes, Eddie.
Well, he comes back tonight from a 2-match ban, Tom Lineham. It was a 3-match ban originally. They appealed and got it reduced to 2. They lost 1 match of the suspension on appeal. How Much did they pay the lawyer.
What a finish from the winger Tom Lineham. But it's the hard line, the uncompromising line of Bodine Thompson that puts Danny Richardson in all kinds of trouble. An outstanding finish from Tom Lineham. Tom Lineham, Charnley, Ratchford, 60 tries between them for Warrington.
Well, Tyrone Roberts knows this is a big kick. That's why he's taking all the time in the world. But we have known over the years how St Helens have come back in the last couple of minutes to break Warrington's hearts. Roberts adds the 2. The gap is 5 points. St Helens need a converted try.
Well, penalty goals and drop goals are exciting, but for me, it's tries that should win games of rugby league, and it's a try that will probably win this one, although you can never write off the Saints. Tom Lineham's finish is a class one. Both him and Charnley have found ways over the line this year that have got those Warrington fans believing. Now, short restart.
And Saints get it back.
Had to go short, didn't he? The judge went short and he come up with it.
Zebtea then will play the ball to Roby. This is Wilkin. McCarthy Scarsbrook. We've got another semi-final tomorrow. We've got a grand final on Saturday week. This is setting the standards for the next 2 matches, the last 2 matches of Betfred Super League 2018. What a thriller. And we've got the £1 million game in the middle of it all. Wilkin. Back it comes to Lomax. Lomax to Barber. Roberts gets down low and Toby King up top. This now is Richardson. Here is Roby. Roby gets it away to Lomax. Lomax gives it wide again to Dominic Peyrou. And Peyrou goes for the line, but Chris Hill was there. Nerves are twitchy in the coach's boxes. Richardson with a kick looking for Percival. Flicks off Percival's fingers, off Saints. 20-metre restart for Warrington.
Well,
Times against the Saints.
Well, they'll just slow it down here, Warrington. They don't have to win the game again. They're in front on the scoreboard. Josh Charnley just strolling back to tap it on the 20.
And Charnley tapped the ball on the 20, pointed then at the St Helens defenders coming towards him, convinced they were offside.
Well, just trying to kid the referee, Robert Hicks.
Well, there'll be no quick play the balls now for Warrington. There'll be no histrionics. There'll be nothing silly, nothing fancy.
As long as Saints do the job defensively, they're going to get another goal with the ball, and it's about what they do when they have the ball. They can't afford to think too far ahead. We've seen the quality of Warrington throughout this game with the ball.
Murdoch-Masilla just over the halfway line on tackle number 3. Benny Westwood.
He's been good.
Characteristic run from him.
Did they look for a drop goal here, Eddie?
Well, I was wondering that, Phil, because if they get a converted try against them, it ends up as a draw. Hill, last one coming up then.
Kick the ball off the field, surely.
Well, yes, kick it off the field. Oh no, he's come down this right-hand side. He's found King. That's the turnover, but look where Saints have to come now.
Here we go.
95 metres away.
Tuck yourselves in now, watch this set of 6.
It's all good and well putting an attacking kicking, but waste a minute by kicking it off the field. Your game management, that's what comes into play when you've got just over 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes, Warrington are 2 minutes away from a grand final. Saints 2 minutes from the end of their season. In possession, they've only got 4 tackles left. They have to do something special. St Helens, Peyrou smuggles the ball back to Lomax. Lomax comes across the face of play, tries to go inside the big men. Nearly does. Clawed to the ground by Murdoch-Masilla and Westwood. That's 3 gone. Here's Roby again, wrestled to the ground by Hill, 4 gone. Warrington can survive this, they'll think they're on their way. Barber. The referee says this is the last one coming up. Don't think Justin Holbrook agreed with that call. Here is Richardson, they're going to have to run it, They are with Peyrou, they are wide with Morgan. Oh, and Warrington have got it back with Goodwin. Warrington have got it back with Bryson Goodwin. They have to hang on for 1 minute and 10 seconds, and they're at the theatre of dreams.
So surely they just play out this set now. Some of the Chris Hill King really struggling.
No mistakes.
No.
Keep hold of it.
Scoot from dummy half. You don't have to pass the ball. You don't have to play outside of anybody.
Darryl Clark knows that. That was cool as a cucumber from Clark. They're inside the final minute. They can see Old Trafford. They've got 1 foot on Sir Matt Busby Way.
And you just play out this set, and then surely it'll be kicked off the field. Get to the sideline, get where you can get a decent kick in. Don't force the play.
Don't force an offload.
Warrington were beaten by 20-point margin 2 weeks ago against St Helens. Stephen Price has done it again. He has turned it round in the space of a fortnight, just as he did against Wigan in the Challenge Cup after the Magic Weekend defeat.
Well, considering that this team were in a qualifying 8 last year, what a turnaround in form for Steve Price. He's come in, he stripped the game back from Eddie. They don't play that like 50-50 play. The forwards do a decent job. Ben Barber, and let's credit Saints as well. We have waxed lyrical on Sky Sports how good this Saints team have been, how good that player has been all year.
And he's a contender for Man of Steel on Monday night, but they've got 22 seconds to rescue their season. And here they come with that man Barber, now with Percival. Oh, and that's a knock-on. Oh, and that's an offside. That's an offside decision. So no matter how many seconds tick by now, they have to play out this after the penalty.
Well, Percival just trying it.
Supporters are celebrating because there's the siren, but they have to play out after this penalty. And Richardson finds touch. They're 40 metres away, and this is the last throw of the dice. Wilkin, Lomax, Barber, Percival. Percival still. The ball finds its way out of touch, and Warrington are there. Warrington are through to the grand final 2018, and such joy on the terraces, matched by joy on the field, and matched by joy of the coach and a former chairman. Warrington are there. Justin Holbrook's league leaders are denied. Heartbreak for Johnny Lomax, delight for the Warrington Wolves, and Super Benny Westwood is on his way to Old Trafford, and Ben Barber is on his way home.
What a game, what a game. Ben Barber and his teammates have threw absolutely everything into this game. The Saints team have been quality all year. Warrington, like I said, they've had good periods, they've had bad periods in the season, but what they've done in this semi-final, they've stuck together, they believed in each other, they played for the full 80 minutes, and they had to play for the full 80 minutes. They were coming here against the team.